Sure.
I'm not that bad anymore.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know how like the 3DS XL, that's a real thing, right?
Yes.
The 3DS XL had the Nintendo one, like the NES.
NES, yeah. They had Super Nintendo too.
They did a Super. Okay, I was gonna ask if that was real because I saw that on Amazon and I was like,
shit. I think it was real. Yeah. Now you're making me question it.
Well, it was on Amazon, so I mean, not that means anything, but like, I saw that it was real. Something was real.
I love how the beginning of it's real. The beginning of the show is me like being like, oh, I don't know about this Nintendo thing. Is it real? All right. Hello, everybody.
I have to say the NES one's a little cooler.
Mom Brain will be here. I like the Super Nintendo one better, but I've always liked the Super Nintendo design better than the NES. I mean, the NES holds a special place in my heart, but there's just, I don't know. It's just something about the Super Nintendo that does it for me. But I do like both of them. All right. Let's go. 1 second. Dead air. All right. I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, Webisode 859, the Impidimp Podcast. That's Impidimp, not impotent. Do you want to read about Impidimp for us?
I'd love to read about Impidimp for us. All right, the reason this Pokemon causes trouble for those it feels close to is because Impidimp itself gets irritable if it can't absorb negative emotions.
Tell me about it.
Wait a minute, so it has to absorb negative emotions to feel better. And if it doesn't absorb those emotions, then it feels negative?
It's doing what any therapist would say not to do, bottling up your negative emotions.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fueled by them.
It sounds like, I mean, to me, it sounds like a Wily Pokemon, but under category, it's Wily. Wow. Oh, look at that. Yeah, of course.
You're you're a big Pokemon guy, so your perception is on.
With peace and love, I truly am. Its height is 1 foot 4 inches. Its weight is 12.1 pounds. It's male. And do we care about the abilities? The abilities are Frisk. When it enters a battle, the Pokemon can check an opposing Pokemon's held item. And Prankster gives priority to the Pokemon's status moves.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it.
That was my pleasure.
Kirby is not here today because it is Kirby's birthday. He's out celebrating his birthday. What is he doing?
Your name.
I don't remember. Probably getting something to eat and having a good time. Dew is here.
Woo-hoo.
Nikki Hill is not here again. He is COVID free now, but he's being extra cautious. There she is.
Hello.
He's being extra cautious, so he's hanging back.
Nikki
I would
Hill,
imagine
speak your name.
He'll be here next week. Although next week, do we have to do it earlier Saturday or on a different day? Because there's the family thing.
Yeah, I don't
remember.
Family.
By the way, Ethan on H3 talking about MILF Manor with Zach playing the family sound clip is great. Which what? You're all plugged in.
Okay.
You're good to go, baby. Nikki Hill, Mom Brain is
Squidward.
Oh, Mom Brain is here.
Yes, she is.
Good to see you. I know you've been rushing about today. I appreciate you trying to get everything done and get here for the show because the people matter that much to you.
Of course they do.
Your lovely audience. And now we know friends are listening who we didn't know were listening before.
That's true, which makes me feel a little self-conscious, I think.
I think you do a great job. Don't worry about it.
Not going to lie, I'm sweating a little bit.
Josh Grobot is here, of course, my old college roommate friend.
A big hello to my fans.
Josh, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us every single week. I know we talked to you in the beginning, and then every once in a while I'll pop in, but I got to do a better job of.
Sure, whatever.
You're right to be upset.
Oh my God, the 8-bit Lego just posted guinea pig pictures.
That one, given the old long nose next to the camera, that's pretty great.
Man.
And of course, George is here. George, my other good friend, how are you?
Buongiorno, doing fine. Thank you very much, my friends of Lyme.
Did you say buongiorno, George? Buongiorno.
We.
That's great. So yeah, listen, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm a little out of it today. I just last night I was tired when I'm not usually tired, and I was like, I got to do my walk early on Saturdays because of the podcast. I was like, let me just get to bed now, and I'll get an extra bit of sleep, and it'll be great. But that's not how my body works anymore. What happens is I lay down and I fall asleep pretty much instantly for an hour. And then after that hour, I'm like awake. And that's exactly what happened last night. And I laid there for 2 hours before I fell back
Ugh.
asleep. And usually I'm like, I give up. I'll get up. I'll do a little bit of work. I'll have a snack and I'll go back to bed. But last night I was like, no, I'm going to go back to sleep. I'm going to stay here and fall asleep. And it took over 2 hours to fall back
Oh,
asleep.
man.
I didn't sleep well last night.
What the hell's going on?
Were you overthinking stuff? Like, were you trying not to? Because that's if I can't sleep, it's because my mind's doing its
Mhm.
thing, and it's like, how do I meditate or something to get my mind kind of blank?
Well, hello, Slacker Monkey. I'm going to say hello to everybody. I know that's what keeps me awake sometimes when I'm like lost in thought. So for the first like half hour, I was like, just gonna lay here and nothing, and I got the white noise on, and I'll roll with it. And then a half hour went by, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, it's been a half hour. I can't fall asleep. And then, I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I get lost in thought, thinking about how I'm gonna fall asleep. And then you snap out of it, and I'm like, all right, just gotta fall asleep, gotta. And then another half hour went by, nothing happened. So then I was just thinking about whatever,
My dad's surefire way of falling asleep
choking.
2
is,
shots of whiskey.
is the Black Rock.
That's what he calls poop.
He imagines
Leave me alone. I have to take the black rock.
he imagines a black rock.
Is
Like,
that his heart?
I don't know.
Imagines a black rock, and
Yeah.
there's no
He just
there's
I
nothing
mean
else that goes with that
I'm sure he could
description.
I'm sure
like
he's
a-
got more to
It's like
it.
a
but
Marvel like comic book thing. Like there's some villain out there picturing the black rock out there that speaks to him.
Yeah, it sounds sinister
Yeah,
almost.
right?
Actually,
Yeah,
Mr.
I think
Sinister.
he pictures it like getting closer and closer or bigger and bigger until like he falls asleep.
that
But-
would give me nightmares. I think.
Like my
Right.
mom will
I
be
better fall
like,
asleep before it gets here.
my mom will be like tossing and turning, and he'll be like, what's up? And she'll be like, I can't sleep, and he's like, think of the black rock.
Bonnie, just picture the black rock.
Yeah, think of the black rock.
Hello, Tent Division and the 8-Bit Lego and Alternates Liz. Anastasia Beaverhausen, no blades, no bows. Mars Barrow, Malik Halo, if I didn't say that already. Blood Ocean, Slacker Monkey, Joe Shabadu, Nintim Doe. Super Blast X, the Super Sanchez. Look at all these beautiful animals in here. This is great. Hello, Koboon and Giant Reggie. And whoever else I missed, I'll get you if you say hello again.
Alternates
for
Liz
Ice
says we're
Dilbert.
being stalked by a boo.
I
while
see
we
it.
sleep.
Well, all we got to do is look at it, and then it'll leave us alone. It'll be too bashful. I've heard the Black Rock story before from you, but I forgot all about it. So maybe next time I have trouble falling asleep, which will probably be tonight, I'll think of the Black Rock. It frightens me. I feel like my whole life is going to become
Go
like
to sleep or it'll get you.
the Black Rock. Every solution to everything will be the Black Rock. Like I can't focus, think of the Black Rock. I'm stressed out, think of the Black Rock.
We could be on, the verge of an A24 horror movie
Yeah.
right here, The
Yeah.
Black Rock.
Giant Reggie says, just think of Dwayne Johnson. There you go, the Black Rock.
I've also done like meditations where you count backwards, so you have to like focus a little more. So you count backwards from like 800. So it's like you have to pay a little more attention than you would counting forwards.
I present 800 to the Black Rock. I present 799 to the Black Rock.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Oh, hi, Eggplant Jr. They say my insomnia cure is to try and go from A to Z, trying to name original NES games. Works pretty well to distract myself. Not bad.
Rami,
Right in my wheelhouse.
what is my
Oh, the alphabet game.
the alphabet game is my go-to since I was a little kid.
Alphabet game is you just say a letter and then you say a thing.
A,
right?
my name's Amanda and my husband's name is Albert. We live in Alabama and we sell apples. And then you go to B. And then you go to so on and so
Nice.
forth.
B, my name is Bradley. I'm married to Barbara. We live in the Boondocks and we collect
Sell.
bugs.
Sell.
We sell bugs. There you go.
Baboons.
Hey,
Baboons, yeah,
my
sure.
name is Christopher. I'm married to Chelsea.
Oh,
We live in Chelsea, actually.
Oh.
And we sell Chelsea trinkets.
Do you sell boxes for your trinkets?
Oh, my trinkets. My trinkets.
I
go ahead.
I
Cardboard boxes.
Oh, okay.
I purchased Pepsi Zero Sugar with new improved taste. If you'd like me to get you one,
I want to try it right now. This is 0 calories.
Stu, would you like one?
Yes, I want to try it. I want to try it. No pressure. If you
Are
don't
you
wanna
both
try it.
okay with
If
cans?
you want her to pour some in a cup,
Maybe
rather
just
than drink,
maybe just a sip. I don't need a whole.
I'll
Just
pour a
to
little
see
out
it.
for you.
Pour a little out for my
the
homie. All right, everybody. Last week, as you might remember or know, Lube was here, and he was very frustrated that we were talking. He wasn't seriously frustrated, but he was complaining about us not talking about game-related stuff. And he rushed me off of topics I wanted to talk about. Oddly enough, one of them was directly game-related. So I want to circle back and get that one this week. Mom Brain, can you hear me? Okay. So there was a story that came up last week, and I mentioned it to you in passing. I don't know all the specifics, but it doesn't really matter. I know there was a Smash Brothers tournament, and there was someone in the tournament who was, I don't want to say they were bad because they weren't bad, but they weren't expected to be like a top tier player. And then there was someone who was expected to go the distance, or at least get close to going the distance. And this, oh boy, this one that was, I like the can. This one that was expected to go the distance ended up losing to this other guy. That good? A little more?
Yeah, maybe so I can taste some.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go.
You're gonna just swish it around.
It's a deceptive
I know it's your
base.
cannon, and you don't want to.
No. I might not like it.
Smells like Pepsi.
So the guy lost that was expected to win, and he didn't say anything mean to the other competitor.
Oh my god!
But he did take his own controller and smash it on the ground. Like took it and smashed it. And I was reading an article, and the article took the stance of, we're all adults here. We've all smashed controllers, and we smash controllers all the time. And I was like, do we? And I read comments because I was like, am I? What's that thing? What's that joke we always say?
Am I the drama?
It's not
There's
that.
but yes, am I better than everyone?
That's what it is. And I was like, is this a normal thing for other people? And the comments were flooded with like, yeah, I've broken a lot of controllers. Yeah, I broke a controller recently. And I was like, I don't want to like come down on people, but this is scary. Like
my parents would have
forget
lost
Oh, yeah.
Forget
their
it.
shovel
Oh,
if I behaved that way. Like, forget it.
That's much closer to regular Pepsi than I would have
It's closer.
expected.
It's closer.
Wow.
Now, raw meat is a Coke or a
I'm
Diet Coke
shocked.
or a Coke Zero guy usually.
No, I mean, like I love Pepsi more than Coke, but I'm not one of those ones where it's like, oh, you only have Pepsi, forget it. I like Pepsi. I like Coke. I'll drink. You only have Pepsi, forget it. I like Pepsi. I like Coke. I'll drink
and
them
I'm
both.
put off.
By
Now-
Pepsi?
This
Yeah.
is probably my warped brain because I've been drinking only Diet Coke or diet drinks for a year and a half now. If you gave me this, I might think it was regular Pepsi.
You're a super taster, man. Come on, pull yourself together.
Super taster
also-
just means I hate lots of
I also got you root
flavors.
beer and
All
ginger
different
ale.
flavors. Oh, thank you.
All different flavors.
Yeah, this
Flavors.
surprisingly, that's closer to regular Pepsi than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
But anyway, thank you, Mom Brain. Off the Pepsi thing.
Mhm.
Throwing controllers. Let's see. Highland Tom says, "Who smashes a controller? They ain't cheap." Yeah, that's another thing I would think of.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's. I don't know. So I don't want to generalize, but I'm going to generalize. It's either like if you have anger issues, or most likely if you're entitled. Like if you grew up and you had everything ever in your life, maybe they wouldn't put so much stock in their controllers and throw them, or they might have anger issues and do that. But like, I never ever did that. If I ever dropped my controller, I would I was like so scared of hurting any of that stuff. And I was devastated when my NES the spring stopped working. I mean, you just had to jam another game in there, but
Yeah.
like I was like, oh no, it's all over. What have I done? But it's like, okay, no, we can get past this. So like I wouldn't feel comfortable. Oh my god. And in public, forget it. I would
Anastasia Beaverhassen says something that, we should point out. They say literally never done that, maybe as a young child. Yeah, if you're a kid, that's whatever. That's fine. You know, kids have fits. It happens. You're young. You're not thinking straight. You get, you lose your mind for a bit. Yeah,
There's
I'm not
a cool wet rag
I'm not
in
going
sight.
to see like an 8. Well, listen, if I saw an 8-year-old kid like smash a controller and have a hissy fit, I'd be like, uh-oh. But
what happened?
I also wouldn't be like, I can't believe that kid did
but
that.
you
Because
wouldn't
it's a
be like,
kid.
cancel this kid.
Yeah,
forever.
exactly. Giant Reggie says, I'm always in control with my controllers.
Nice.
Never smashed a controller, never once broken rage. Seems like a red flag for anger issues. People who smash guitars, maybe they also smash controllers. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Whoa, listen to this. Anastasia Beaverhassen says, it reminds me of when Germa played Hit and Run. And so Germa's a streamer. And someone in chat said the game made them leave bite marks in their controller.
wow.
Bite marks, like a feral animal. Wow. Anastasia Beaverhassen also says, I used to chew on our Sky TV remote when I was super young because it was rubbery, and I was feral. There you go. We've all chewed on. I've chewed on
Barbie shoes.
He-Man hands.
Mm.
I chewed He-Man hands until the point where he had giant paddles. Like they were just big, flat paddle He-Man hands, which could be a superpower in and of its own. Yes, Ice Dilbert, you're right. When I saw a commercial as a kid that said flash processing, that made me so angry that I smashed a controller, of course. For them to be, 10 Division says, for them to be willing to do that to their own things and to do it in public seems like a, quote, my parents let me get away with anything, end quote thing. Yeah, again, like it's someone at a tournament, so they're younger, but that could be, early 20s or late teens, I guess is possible too. But yeah, it's not like a little kid. I don't know. Maybe I might even be willing to give someone late teens, early 20s a bit of a pass. I'd be like, they're a bit too old to be doing that. But,
Something is looming.
like at that age, you're still working stuff out and finding yourself. So I don't know. But I just wanted to see like if this was, unfortunately, I do think it's a normal thing. And us here on the podcast and you guys in chat are the outliers. I think there's more people I don't mean to like stereotype, but I imagine there's a lot of Call of Duty players who are smashing controllers or keyboards. That might be wrong of me, and I'll gladly admit that that's wrong if there was some study or evidence any which way. But it seems, hello, Retsu, it
I
seems
wonder,
like something that could happen.
because there's a lot of media like movies and TV shows over the years where we've seen people fake playing video games, and they always throw their controllers. And like,
Hi, Steve Irwin.
I mean, it always looks weird to me, but like, I guess over time it doesn't look weird. It's almost like you expect them to be frustrated and throw the controller down. It always happens. And I don't know, like, is that are they saying something about like, was media saying something that thought about gamers back then, or were gamers really doing that and then the media was just showing us what they were doing and we were the kids who cared about our stuff?
The majority of media right now still has no idea what video games are or how people play them or how they are played or what they mean, or like,
so you
it's
think
so
it would
blatantly
be,
obvious.
Yeah, they would just be like, oh, they're like kids play video games and they get frustrated easy, so they would throw their controller when they lost.
Like, no joke, I think The Last of Us coming about and HBO being very honest in the marketing with it being adapted from a video game, I think is opening a lot of eyes for people. They're like, this is a video game? I can't believe this. I think that's very important because a lot of people do think like video games. Listen, I keep saying this, but it's so much better than it ever was because like our generation growing up is now the generation that is at least coming into some part of this area where we're running things. Like obviously we need another 10 years or something, but like the generation we grew up with we're all 40-year-olds now. So like that's why gaming is more normal because so many of us did it. And gaming's not looked on weirdly by the vast majority of people. But when it comes to older media like that, established, they don't know what's going on. What's the question when you're hearing from like actors our age and older, because they're so removed from anything normal? It's like, what video games do you play? And they're like, I haven't played anything since Space Invaders, or I haven't played anything since Donkey Kong or Pac-Man. You know, that's their go-to. So that's where their touchstone is. They know what they knew when they were a kid, and that's it. They just, what was this in relation to? This just had a. Oh, never mind. I can't. I can't.
Did you know you can play Tetris for free on Tetris.com?
Josh, I know you're a hardcore gamer. You don't have to convince me. You've been there since day one.
Shout out to my bro.
That's right. So yeah, I'm glad to know, at least in this small corner of the internet, it seems like people aren't smashing controllers, but I guess it's more normal than I thought.
I could dance all day. I could dance all day.
But yeah, I guess it does. I don't know. I guess it's a money thing too. It could be a money thing because controller is expensive. A Switch,
Yeah.
2 Joy-Con are $80. A
And if
PS5
you don't have a controller,
controller's,
you're
what,
done.
$70-$80. You buy that new PlayStation controller. What's that? Like $150, $120, something like that. Like,
Yeah, that's
Good Lord.
that's ridiculous.
You know what else I got while I was out?
diarrhea.
No.
What?
Goldfish crackers, red hot. Like Frank's Red Hot.
Oh,
Why are you not? I want to try these now too.
That sounds like fun.
Could we try those,
Oh, go
please? Thank you.
I wonder if
Giant
they'll-
or regular size?
They didn't have giant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go, Ice Dilbert. See, that's the norm right now. You know what? That might be another thing, and it bleeds into what you were saying, too. Seeing it on TV, and nowadays, like I'm sure you see Twitch streamers do that kind of stuff and get let out their rage, because it's like, I'm not going to say it's not real, but it's also performative for a lot of
Sure.
people. They're putting on a show. So, the more raged out you get, the more crazy you show off. People are going to buy into that kind of stuff. So,
And they probably get like controllers sent to them by companies all the time or something. Not that that makes it any better, but like I said, when I was a kid, it was like, if I'm really, really good, I'll get a Nintendo this Christmas. But like, I can't step out of line. I can't ask for anything else. And this is it. It's not like I can, just smash a controller and then get another one. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to work like that. You just.
These reminded me of Earthbound, so I got them for you.
they are great. Is that a good amount?
Thanks.
Mom Brain, you want some here?
Thanks.
Oh my God, you can eat a lot of these for 140 calories. That's not bad. All right.
I like these.
Are they in fact red hot?
There's a hint. There's a hint of Frank's.
I don't want to chew into the microphone. You get it. I don't want to be an Ethan because he does it all the time, but we don't do it all the time. Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
They're not like extremely hot, but they're hot. You get that
But
taste
Frank's
right
always
away.
has like Frank's is meant to have a tang, right?
Yeah, they got that
It's there.
vinegary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's good. It's good.
Mhm.
Are there any more treats coming?
Mm-mm.
I don't want to make this a whole eating show, but we do like the taste test from time to time. Moving on, the only other thing I want to talk about before we get into regular news is we've talked about the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us, so we might as well talk about the 3rd episode. Mom Brain, you go ahead. You start us off. No spoilers, please.
I mean, all right. Well, let me start with. Well, can I finish chewing? I don't want
Can I finish?
Mm-hmm.
to annoy people.
So, would you like to start?
No, I think Mom Brain should start.
Thanks. So I was thinking about this on my drive home. We went out to dinner last night with some people, and 2 of them have been watching The Last of Us, and they brought it up. They were like, "Oh, has anybody else been watching The Last of Us?"
Mom Brain made not a mistake. She asked the question, has anybody played the game? And I was like, nobody's
So
played
I
the game
said,
here.
well, no. So I said to them, I said, "Oh, have either of you played the game?"
I wonder if they even knew it was a game.
They did know. Yeah.
And they said no. And I was like, oh. And I didn't mean it like, oh, you can't watch the show if you didn't play the game. It just
Yeah.
completely changed the way I was going to approach.
Because the one friend,
Sure.
right after Mom Brain did that, the one friend was like, "Oh, is this a gatekeeping thing?" And we were like, "No, no, no,
I said,
no,
no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm
Aw.
sorry. It's just one of those things that like the conversation I'm going to have with you is very different
Sure.
in so many ways. So
Because I'm sure they loved it, right?
yeah, they did. And we couldn't really talk about it because there were other people at the table who I think were going to watch it.
Okay.
And
cool.
so we didn't want to, spoil it for anybody. I watched the episode. I have never in my life, to my knowledge, cried so hard at a television show or a movie. I mean, I like couldn't get it together. And I was really worried that I would have I was like really worried that everybody would be like, "Oh, really?" Like, ugh. But I don't think that's the case. So I feel a little bit better about it. But it was so
You thought everybody would be surprised that you cried at this episode?
no, I thought I
They
just
wouldn't
didn't know
have
how,
liked the episode. you
yeah,
think.
I was just worried that people would like
No.
not have had the same experience as me
I think
altogether.
I think you're pretty safe in that one. Yeah.
I thought it was a absolutely beautifully told story. It was the emotion and the messages came across so perfectly for me. It was such a satisfying watch, but it's not my The Last of Us.
You're the Last of Us.
And I was really, I'm so torn. I'm so torn. Like I think it's from here on out. I just have to like watch it and pretend like I have no idea what's going on. Like I wish I don't know. I'm glad I played the game first, but it's just very like confusing to my brain to have loved something so much that I should by rights hate in comparison to the game. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's what I keep saying. Like, it all boils down to the same thing for me. I also cried. Not surprising for me. I also really loved the episode. I think it was the best episode by far, and I like the other two episodes. I have issues with them, obviously, game-related issues. But this episode was it was just a fantastic episode of TV in general. Like, it was just a great episode of a show. But I feel the same way as you. It's not what I want from The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't have to keep adding the qualifier. I like, it's frustrating to be like, listen, that was a great episode, but it's not The Last of Us. And if I'm watching The Last of Us, I don't need it to be slavish in how it retells everything from the game. I'm open to wiggle room. I'm open to weaving a bit of a different story that gets to the same points. That's fine. Like, I don't need it to be every single detail is exactly the same, but there are major characters and major beats and major storyline elements and major interactions that I feel need to be there. And when those are changed for who the hell knows why, it frustrates me. So I have to keep saying, as an episode, I thought it was fantastic. And that's if I remove The Last of Us from the equation. But this is an adaptation of The Last of Us. I shouldn't have to remove that to have that enjoyment. It's frustrating to me. So, if you're more open to,
Did you feel that, dude? Is that like hot?
I felt it.
Yeah.
If you're, it's very hard to talk about, and Dew will vouch for this because, my complaints and Dew's complaints, as far as I know, obviously I'll let you speak in a second, are about how it deviates from the game in some big ways, and we catch a lot of flack from people who are like, "Oh, so you want it to be exactly the same? Like, why would you want that?" And it's like, no, I don't want it to be exactly the same. I just want the major points to be the same. Why
Yeah.
bother doing an adaptation if you're just going to deviate so far off the course that do your own thing? Like, that episode of the show could exist as its own thing, stand alone, not tied to The Last of Us at all, and it would have been amazing, and I would have had no issues with it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's The Last of Us, so I have things that irk me. I've talked enough. Go ahead, Dew. Sorry.
I don't have anything new to add. I agree with both of you. I was very moved by the episode. So much so that, I was moved to tears. I thought it was wonderfully filmed and acted, and man, it was just really, really special. I really loved it. But yeah, like you guys said, it's not my Last of Us. That was not my portrayal of the character of Bill. And there's some things, spoiler free here, but there's some things that they could have done, even keeping as much as they had in this episode. There's things that they could have done, because the only thing I will say is that in the game, Ellie has a lot of interactions with Bill that are like so wonderful. So
Yeah.
and that gives you that kind of builds up Ellie's character for the audience as well at that moment in the game. And right, I mean, there's more to come, but as of right now, Ellie's character is like really underwritten. And I mean, it's all
Very
gonna
one note, like
yeah, like it's gonna happen. I have a feeling it'll definitely happen as the story progresses here. But yeah, I feel like as much as I love this episode, it's almost like a one-off. It almost feels like it, like you said, it could be a one-off if they did a
I mean, that episode's an hour and 20 minutes. That's close to movie length. It could have been its own thing. Yeah,
it's kind of true. But
a movie length for sure.
What I don't know. I'm kind of torn, because right now I'm enjoying the show, and at the end of the second episode, I kind of was just like, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to compare it to the show, because it's going to be so different in a lot of ways that are going to be frustrating. And if I'm going to enjoy this as much as I can, I got to just throw that stuff out. One thing that I am appreciating is how much people who don't play the games or any video games seem to be enjoying this. And even though I have read, some of that junk that you're going to hear in review bombing and things like that, it doesn't seem to be as bad as say in the case of Miss Marvel or something like that, where I feel like,
come on.
Well, there are a lot of people ragging on Ellie, right? Because she's not pretty enough.
Oh,
there was that ethnic woman versus gay man. At least the man is
He's a
gay.
man.
If it was a gay
man's gonna-
woman, woo!
And he's white.
The
He's white,
gender
yeah.
is going to trump that,
Yeah,
of course. So that's probably why. But regardless, I'm glad that so many people seem to be watching it, enjoying it, appreciating it, and who knows, maybe it'll get people to play the game.
I'm sure it will. It definitely will. I mean, that stuff 100% happens, and I want to say, I'll only speak for myself, although I believe you two to be the same. We're not gatekeeping the game or the show. The show getting out there,
play the game though, because it's such a great.
The show getting out there is a window to the game and games in general, and I think that's great. And I'm not, and I never would be someone where someone's watching the show and they have no touch point with the game, and they're telling me how much they love the show, and I'd be like, well, in the game it's like this. I'm not having those conversations with people. I'm having those conversations with people who have played the game. My mom has not played the game. My cousin hasn't played the game. They're both loving the show. I'm not telling them this is how it was in the game and that's wrong. I'm I'm really happy you're enjoying the show. That's great. You should play the game if you get a chance. So I'm not this shouldn't exist. This should, just for me personally, as someone who wants to see that story told cinematically through a TV show lens, I'm disappointed that it's deviating so much from. Listen, the whole reason that the show is made is because the game is great. So for me to see them just deviate so much in so many ways, I'm this is frustrating. But the flip side of the coin is usually when you have deviations, they suck. This is deviating and it's still very good.
Sure.
So
that's what's I was going to mention that earlier when you were talking about friends who were well, you want it to be exactly the same. If it sucked, then they'd be like, man, I wish they stuck to the video game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why, and I welcome that being challenging, because it is very nice to have an adaptation that, even though it is deviating, it is a great show. There are certain elements in there that I would argue are not great, particularly one moment at the end of the second episode. I think that's just bad, in general. But everything else, fine. And there's been other changes in there that are minor that I have no issues with at all. So, again, it's not about a slavish remake. retelling or anything like that. It's just I want, the major things in my mind that make it The Last of Us, I would like retained for this. And there's now crucial characters and interactions and stories that are not told or told completely differently. And that's frustrating to me because I feel there's character development there that I guess could come from somewhere else. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But, I don't know. It was all the blueprints were there. So
Are either of your TikTok algorithms inching you towards like Pedro Pascal, like zaddy content? Because
only a very little bit. It's mostly where Du and I are on the same TikTok algorithm where it was like Nick Offerman as Ron Swanson, like edits to make it look like The Last
I've
of
gotten
Us.
those,
Yeah.
but
I got one of Pedro Pascal last night where he was on like Jimmy Fallon or something, telling the story about like how
do they zoom in on his hand rubbing the chair, the velvet?
No.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
mine-
well, that's where mine went.
mine was him telling the story of how he was saying, obviously this was edited, so I don't know the full details, but he was saying how he really, really wanted this. And he said it's been a while since there was a role that he was up for where he felt this passionate about it. Cause he was like, I really want to do this. He's like, he did the audition and they said, well, get in touch and we'll let you know in a day or two. And he's like, now I got to wait all day to
I
find
heard
out if
that
I got
story,
this
yeah.
job. And he's like, this is going to drive me nuts. And he said, he was laying down to try and sleep and having trouble sleeping. So he took an Ambien to fall asleep. And he said after he took the Ambien, he got the call or the email or whatever that said, you got the job. And he was so excited. But when he woke up, he had forgotten that he got the job. So he's like, oh, now I got to wait all day. And he said he started getting texts and stuff that were like, congratulations. And he was like, wait, yeah, I got the job.
And he's like waiting in a hotel room by the phone because he's like, I don't want to miss the call.
By the way, he's hosting SNL tonight. And the only commercial I've seen for SNL is about it's a clicker like walking through the back.
Oh yeah, I
the
saw that
backstage of
promo too.
SNL. So yeah, this is a big, like, this is a huge deal. And here's something else that's really surprising. The ratings as far as viewership for each episode have gone up since the debut, and it debuted very large. So second week was bigger, which is what I thought it would be. But third week went up from that, which I wouldn't have expected. I thought it'd settle around there somewhere. So it's
now
it's
you
climbing.
think it'd go up even more because this episode's
Yeah, I
so
would guess.
like everyone's
I would
talking
guess.
about it.
We'll find out. But yeah, it's this isn't just like, it's a hit for a video game show. This is like a bona fide hit. This is a big deal. Like this is, there was obviously Game of Thrones, and then there was when Westworld first and second season. That was like a major thing.
Oh, man.
The Last of Us
Remember how good
is
that
that
was?
new thing. It's the new show everybody's watching and talking. I mean, that's why Pedro Pascal is hosting SNL, obviously. Obviously, they knew the show was coming out ahead of time, and that's why he'd be there and cross promotion and all that stuff. But it's a big hit, so that's great for everybody involved. So there you go.
Love that Pedro. He seems like a nice guy
He
too.
does,
Let's
yeah.
knock on wood.
It helps. It certainly helps. And it's pretty nice to look at, right, Monbray? Those hands. All right, let's also hello, Solid Master Link. I waved to you in the chat, but I just wanted to let you know I saw your Dr. Nick. Again, I put this out there. Someone told me they were going to watch The Critic. I don't remember who it is. I apologize. But if you have watched it or started watching it, let me know in the chat because I want to talk about it later. But for now, let's get to some news. It was actually I remember it being a busy news week. Maybe it wasn't. Let's find out together. It was a busy week. We ended on that. Thanks for the remix, Mom Brain.
You're welcome.
Yeah, here you go. This is one of those things that's a rumor only because Nintendo hasn't officially confirmed it. No.
This?
I would label this as fact if I was just writing for myself, but I don't write for myself. I write for everybody. So here's the deal. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is coming to Switch. It is a revamp of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which was on the Wii. Kirby's Return to Dreamland was my favorite Kirby game until Kirby and the Forgotten Realm came out. So I love this game. I think it's great that people get to play it again. Am I excited for it? I wasn't until now. Because the back of the box, which we have a picture of, shows that it's going to include some new content. It says it will include a Magalore epilogue, so you get a whole new like piece of content to enjoy that comes after the end of the game as it ended on Wii. And I don't know if this is crazy or not, but I don't really care about the story in Kirby games. So I'm not like, oh, they're going to retrofit story stuff. Like, I don't care about that. It's just more Kirby stuff to play, which I am excited about. So the back of the box says Brave an extra quest after the ending. And obviously it'll spotlight or feature Magalore in some kind of way. So no spoilers there if you haven't played Kirby's Return to Dreamland, but I'm excited for it now. I wasn't interested in the game before just because I'm not one for remakes and remasters, but now that I know there's new playable content, I'm like, oh, all right. So I don't know why Nintendo. We gotta celebrate. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't like trumpeted this yet. Maybe they're saving it for a direct or something. But yeah, now I'm like, oh, all right. I think I'm gonna play that because one of my favorite Kirby games. I'm down with that. Again, we have the back of the box. It looks legitimate. Like I'm sure it's the real deal. Just Nintendo hasn't announced this in a press release or covered it in any footage. It's not on the official website yet. So I guess they're taking the stance of, this is only for people who played the Wii one, and we're looking at a new audience here. So there you go. Maybe a reason for you to consider purchasing if you were uninterested before. Kuribo. By the way, this is a funny story about Kuribo. I won't name names, but a reader of the site emailed me, and they were like, I've noticed that Kuribo hasn't been having a comment on the top comment on the site, and then I noticed they haven't been commenting at all, and I'm worried something was wrong. And I was like, top commenters on the site have come and gone. I've been running a site for like 18 years, almost 2 decades. Like people come and go. That's the way it is. But because this reader was like, is there something wrong? Did something happen with them? I was like, now I'm worried something happened. So because I am the owner of the site, I have access to email information. So I went and got Kuribo's email because that's how you sign up. And I emailed them and I was like, listen, I know I'm crazy here, but somebody reached out to me and they were like, is this person okay? Apparently they are keeping track and they noticed that you disappeared. Listen, I'm like, I don't care if you don't like the site anymore or any of that. Just want to make sure you're good. And they're like, everything's really good. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm actually on vacation and I got to get caught up when I get home. So I'll be back. I was like, all right. So they're fine. And they're back. So there you go. Kuribo says, I guess it's the font, but I was reading it as de galore epilogue, which didn't make sense. Yeah, the A in Magdalore looks like a D. I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's
clapping for the return of the top
for
commenter.
the return of Kuribo. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a weird font on that A, so I get it. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm sure Nintendo will announce this detail in the coming weeks because the game comes out February 24th. So, oh my God, we're in February.
We are.
So it comes out
20
in
days from
20 days from now. Holy moly.
Oh my.
So you'll find out soon enough. Or Nintendo won't say anything and you could just go look at the back of the box for yourself or the eShop listing, I'm sure. All right. This was a rumor, but it is a rumor no more. It is fact. You know what I remember about this week? Lots of rumors. So our friends at Nintendo World Report had noticed that there was a video from Nintendo on YouTube that went private before it went public.
But I've seen everything.
And that video got leaked online because it was caught before Nintendo made it public. Because there's always people watching every move that Nintendo does. And it was for Nintendo Switch game vouchers. And you might be like, hey, I remember that. That was years ago. And it was probably universally praised as one of Nintendo's best programs ever. And then they stopped doing it. Well, the rumor turned out to be true. It's back, everybody. Nintendo Switch Online members now have access to, once again, Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Well, what are game vouchers? Buy now, use later. Vouchers are redeemable for 12 months from the date of purchase and don't have to be used at the same time. Nintendo Switch Online members can buy a pair of vouchers and redeem each one for a select digital game. Fan favorites like Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and many others are included. You can have up to 8 active vouchers on your account at a time. New games added regularly. You receive bonus 5% gold points on your My Nintendo account as well. So here's what happens. You buy these vouchers. And basically, you get $20 off your games. Yeah, so you buy 2, you get 2 digital vouchers. And you cash them in for games and you save $20 on a game as long as you do it within the 12.
$10 per game.
I don't sure, let's say that. Yes.
Because it's the vouchers $50 and a game is $60 normally, right?
I went to the official information page. Nintendo's ready to buy a pair of Nintendo Switch game and redeem each one for a digital game voucher to score savings. Yeah, so the voucher is $100 and the games are $60. So that would be $10 on each game. So $20 altogether. Yes. And obviously, Nintendo very rarely does savings on these first party things outside of very special sales. But yes, here's the other thing. It's on new games like Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and they're adding new games all the time too. So it's an awesome offer, and I would imagine most of you listening to this podcast will buy 2 Switch games within the next 12 months. Like, I don't know, Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, is that going to count?
I'm sure it'll be in there. I don't think it's listed in there right now, but literally every new game, like Fire Emblem Engage is part of it, and that just came out.
See, I didn't get any vouchers when I got the email because I was like, well, I don't want to play Pokemon or Kirby, so why would I get them?
Yeah, it's not there yet, but I would be shocked if it was. Like their most recent game, Fire Emblem Engage, which came out January 20th, is included in this. Like it's new games all the time. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like I said, both Pokemon games, Live Alive, Fire Emblem Warriors, it's everything. Everything's in here. Basically, it's like Nintendo's first-party voucher program. So that's the thing. You could buy it now, and you have 12 months to use it. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to use the vouchers to get a game you would be getting anyway. So,
well, you want to make
Pikmin
sure you
4,
want 2
I'm sure
games.
will be in there. Yeah, you're going to need to want 2 games. So Pikmin 4 and Tears of the Kingdom. There's other first-party stuff coming out this year.
Pikmin 4 is
obviously.
definitely this year?
Yeah, Pikmin 4 is definitely this year, unless they delay it, which they are not going to delay it. Pikmin 4 is this year, without a doubt. I believe here I got an email for you this is a story that I haven't posted on the site yet, that I will be posting later today from Tipster Sephiroth. They saw that
Tipster Roth.
GameExplorers.gr, which is a retailer in Greece, they have just added Pikmin 4 to their website, and it lists it with a May 26th date. Potential.
If anyone knows video games, it's the Greeks. So I
know,
believe it.
If anybody knows video game release dates, it's Sephiroth. He's been emailing me tips like this for, over 5 years easy. And he gets me information on game release dates that are 9 times out of 10.
So who
legit.
is this? How does this person get this stuff?
This person,
They should be in my network.
Scours all kinds of
The
retailers
force is
for this
strong
information,
with
but
this one.
also like tracks back end movement on retailers and all that stuff. So like they get me ratings on games that haven't even been announced for Switch yet, and they're always right. This guy knows. So May 26th is this listing. Not saying it's official, but comes from a source I certainly trust, and it's on the I'll post a link to the retailer.
You know what
and you guys can go
happened
see.
the last time something came from a source we trusted? We didn't get any of those Zelda anniversary games that we were told we were going to get. Take that, whoever that person was that we used to trust.
Mr. Grubb.
Listen,
Mr. Grubb.
the only rumors we can really trust are dues.
Thank you.
Whatever
Right.
comes across his desk is
Thank you.
completely
That's right.
legitimate.
Sundown Samurai says, why are Nintendo games that are usually listed for $60 have a listed price of $80 when I use this link? Maybe it's a Canadian link. Let me check.
Sure,
It
why
is
not?
the Canadian link. Yes, there you go.
Oh, Canadian link. Canadian Zelda.
Canadians up in Canada have higher prices. So there you go.
Bless me, bagpipes.
I'm
That's
from
Canadian. Yep,
Canada,
definitely.
And
Scrooge-
they say I'm slow, eh?
Scrooge McDuck, famous Canadian. You're right. Moving on. The development team on GoldenEye 007, the original, the N64, which I'm sure Dew will be talking about later, and I will also be talking about, has shared disappointment in not being asked to be a part of the re-release revamp of GoldenEye for Switch Online and Xbox. It's one of my favorite soundboard things. Former Rare employee Graham Norgate hopped on Twitter.
Graham.
And they said, sad to think GoldenEye for Switch and Xbox was outsourced to 2 different devs. You could have got the old team back together for one more gig, guys. We wouldn't have let you down. Labor of loves are always better value than cash for mates. Also taking to Twitter was David Doak, who is actually a character model in the game.
Oh yeah, Dr. Doak.
Dr. Doak. He's the one in what facility?
Yeah, he gives you a special key card.
Yeah. He went on Twitter and he says, obviously marvelous to see GoldenEye 007 re-released, and I hope people have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, bit shabby all around. We weren't invited. I've had a number of messages asking me for more information about this. I know nothing. To be clear, to the best of my knowledge, none of the original development team were involved or consulted or benefit in any way from the reissue. So it goes. So just to be clear, the original developers were not included in this remake, as in they didn't work on it, but they are in the credits. Everybody that was in the original credits is in the credits here too. So, but yes, Nintendo and Microsoft did not work with the developers to do this revamp. Yeah. I think it's because honestly, it's not that much of a revamp. Like it's just like
Well, that's what I was
high res and
I was
widescreen,
thinking-
and that's it.
I was thinking, what the heck do I not know about
Yeah.
re-releases of old games? Because why would they need even a team to do
Yeah,
anything?
if it was a remake, sure, you would want the old team in there, and if they weren't brought in, I would at least understand it, but I'd be disappointed. But this isn't that. This is very much like listen, the whole reason this game took so long to come out was because of licensing issues and all that stuff. Like it had to pass through so many hands and get approvals and stuff. But the actual getting the game on Switch, sure, it took work, don't get me wrong, but it's not a remake, and it's not like it's a very straightforward re-release, other than the widescreen stuff, outside of widescreen, the work that went into this is the same work that goes into every other Switch Online title. That's why they didn't bring anything, any other team members in, because that's not what it was meant to be. It's not. So I can understand the team's disappointment in not being involved because it's their baby. Of course, I'm not going to look at them and be upset about that or be like, why are you complaining? But you have to look at the other side of the coin. It just doesn't make sense. Nintendo handled this one how they handled all the others. Like Nintendo's team that does all the Switch Online games did this one. So that's it.
And do all these folks still work? I mean, first of all, David Doak is former developer at Rare, but like, what are they going to do?
Oh, they are not at Rare. Yeah.
Yeah, is it like MacGruber where you're putting together a team and they go and get every
Yeah.
OG dev individually, and it's like one guy's like crouched behind a computer doing something, and it's like, hey, you're the best, we need you. It's like, I'm in.
Yeah, it'd have to be a piecemeal situation. A lot of them work at Playtonic, so you could approach Playtonic, but still, all of them don't work at Playtonic. They work at other places, and some have moved on from the game industry. So it would have to be like,
Yeah, it's straight.
if you're getting the team back together, and again, it was a smaller team back in the day, but you'd still have to go. You'd have to go to like, I don't know, 20 different people and be like, hey, do you want to be involved with it? And then what are you going to do? Like, a main developer says no, but the sound guy says yes, and the character modeler says no, but the animation guy says yes. Like, you're at that point, you're like, why am I doing this? If Rare existed as it used to back then, and the vast majority of people were still there, then you could be like, okay, let's go to Rare and get them involved and blah, blah, blah. But that's not the case. Listen, again, I'm not saying don't complain or don't look at, I'm not saying this to the developers, don't complain or don't wish you were included. I get it 100%. But also don't look at it as like Nintendo or Microsoft shafting these people. It
wasn't like they were like, we're going to save a bunch of money by ignoring the original
Yeah.
devs. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's a situation like that.
And I don't mean to throw Microsoft under the bus here, but between the two companies, Microsoft would be the one to more do this because Microsoft worked with another company to get this done, whereas Nintendo worked with their own internal team that they've done all other Switch Online games with. So in Nintendo, it makes even less sense. I'm not saying Microsoft should have done it, but Microsoft was in more of a position to do it because Microsoft doesn't have a dedicated team that's porting over old games to their service every month. That's just not what they do. Like with Switch Online, Nintendo has their team that handles all the NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and 64 games. So it just it makes sense. But I think we can all agree it would have been nice to see some of the original team involved. Yes, it just I get it. I get it.
It would have also been nice if they took Pierce Brosnan's avatar and changed it to Daniel Craig. I mean, that's what everybody wanted.
That's what everybody. That's
with
why
the
we
new-
got it in that other GoldenEye that EA did. Yeah. Kerbo says, I get their disappointment, but it's essentially a re-release of a ROM with some tweaking. So there's likely no need to loop in the original devs. There's also likely a lot of legal back and forth to actually allow GoldenEye to re-release on both platforms, and adding external contractors might have risked leaks or jeopardized the project. I mean, Kerbo, you said what I said much more succinctly, so I agree. We have a rumor that is pretty much, again, not a rumor, but Nintendo has not commented on it publicly. Word on the street is the big three, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, are not going to be part of E3 this year. Nintendo hasn't done a presentation at E3 in a long time, but Nintendo has had a booth presence at E3 every year. So word on the street is not surprising. Nintendo will not have a presentation at E3. Somewhat surprising, they will not have a booth at E3
When
this
was the
year.
last time you went to E3?
Long time. When Nintendo started doing their Nintendo Directs, it didn't make sense for me to go to E3 anymore because
Yeah.
I got to cover the Direct. That's where the news is coming from. It's just hand-on impressions if you go to E3. So around that time. But yeah, rumor has it they are not going to be at E3. So will Nintendo look at it this past year? Nintendo didn't do a Direct exactly at E3 time, but they did a Direct somewhere around E3 time. So I'm sure Nintendo will do the same thing here. They're just not going to have, at least as this rumor is concerned, they're not going to have a booth at E3. And this rumor comes from multiple sources, but was funneled by IGN. So IGN obviously has connections higher up than most people. And they're saying that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft will not be there.
They
So
didn't have the money to pay for the booth babes. So
that's
they
right. Too
figured they would
expensive
skip.
nowadays. That's
They would
right.
skip.
The ESA, which is the organization that does E3, also released a statement, and they said, as you have likely seen, IGN published an article last night about E3. While we are not able to comment on the specific claims in the article, we wanted to share our commitment to moving forward with E3. E3 has a rich history within our industry, and we are always heartened to feel passion for the show and hear what it means to different people. Reviving a trade show, blah 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 blah. We made strong progress in reshaping the event and have received tremendous support from industry companies of all sizes who are not only thinking about E3 2023, but how E3 fits into their marketing plans for 2024 and beyond. It's important to note that even as the show evolves and adapts, it will not impact the core of the ESA's work for its member, blah, 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 blah. So basically, the rumor was Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo not going to be at E3, and the ESA responded by saying, we've
got other
we're
other people
doing
are gonna be
things.
there.
They never came out and said, no, that's not true. So you know what that means. It's true. So there you go. I wouldn't worry about Nintendo not having some kind of big show around E3. They're just not going to be.
I'm glad you said that.
They're just not going to be on the show floor. Mr. Coy says, I hope they at least do an E3 style Direct in June, even if it's not officially E3 related. Nintendo skipping out on a June Direct last year felt like if my family skipped out on Christmas and then randomly gave me one gift at a time throughout the year without warning. I didn't like it. I'm no fan of surprise announcements. Give me some structure, please. Yeah, Nintendo did do a lot of that. Every week for a few weeks, it was like, here's a game that you didn't know about. Here's something else you didn't know about. I mean, there was like a big Direct eventually. It wasn't as close to E3 as traditional, but it wasn't extremely far off. But yeah, listen, from a Nintendo fan perspective and a hype perspective, I get it. You want to know next week there's a Direct and it's around E3 time because that's an exciting one. But also, counterpoint, Nintendo could be like, that's a lot of pressure. If we stop doing that and adhere to our own Direct schedule, that means we'll do Directs when we have considerable things to show off, rather than having a Direct when we don't have considerable things to show off. We do that and people are disappointed. Then they're like, this is their E3 show. How could that be their E3 show? So I see it from both perspectives. As a fan, I want it. As someone who looks at Nintendo operating as a business, I get it. So we'll see what happens. E3, what are we in? February, March, April, May. Oh my God. No, that's not
Oh my
true. Is it
God.
March, April, May. It's only 4 months away.
Well, we're halfway through the school year. So, and usually E3 is like right before school gets out. So
I don't like it.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Josh, the voice of reason. Thank you, Josh. You're right. We got another rumor. So here, I'll start with the truth. A few months back, Lego has a website called Lego Ideas, where fans can make Lego ideas, and you submit them to the site, and they have to go through a voting process. And if they make it through a certain amount of voting stages, Lego will look at the idea and be like, maybe we will do something like this, and they'll reach out to the property holder or the licensor or whatever and see if they can make that possible. So somebody could be like, I want a Last of Us Lego set, and they show their idea for it, and people vote. And if it makes through, I think it's 3 stages of voting, then Lego will be like, you made it through the 3 stages. We will at least consider this and approach the people who hold the rights. And that doesn't guarantee anything will happen, but your work has been recognized, and we'll try and make something happen. So for a long time, there were Lego ideas for The Legend of Zelda, because there's never been an official Legend of Zelda Lego set.
There's even Lego ideas, man. What kind of Lego sets? It's amazing the kind of Lego sets they have.
So what happened is people put up those ideas. They'd make it through a lot of the voting all the time, but no set ever came around. Well, a few months ago, Lego was like, hey, we're not allowing Lego ideas to do Zelda stuff anymore. You just, no more Zelda stuff there. So, of course, because fans aren't stupid, they're like, oh, is it because you're working with Nintendo on a Legend of Zelda Lego set? And Lego didn't say anything, obviously.
Oh, the fans are good.
But here we are. Rumors come out from the Lego insiders. And there are people, obviously, I follow Nintendo ridiculously close and know a lot of things about Nintendo. And there are people who do that for Lego. And major reputable Lego insiders have found out that it seems like, yes, indeed, there is some Lego Legend of Zelda content in the works, and it should see release sometime this year. What are we going to get? What are we going to do? There were pictures that were marked like, internal use only, do not disseminate. And I was like, I'm not going to post those on the site.
You put them
I'm
in
sure
your butt.
I'm sure you
Internal
could.
use only.
I'm sure you could still find them out there if you wanted to, but I was not going to get myself in any legal trouble.
He disseminated. He
But
didn't
I
disseminate.
did. That's right. So I can tell you what was seen. Apparently, the first Lego set will be a great Deku tree, and it will come in 2 versions. So you get 1 set, but you can build it 2 different ways. You get Ocarina of Time Deku tree.
That's the same Deku, right? We're talking about.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I thought that's what that was.
I was trying. I don't know anything
listen,
about.
I got it.
I've played Fortnite once or twice lately.
Mom Brain, I'm sorry to do this to you. Mom Brain, can you give me the Millionaire Serious music?
Oh, don't do this. Come on. I don't
All
know
right,
what
here,
this
hold
is.
on.
Dragon Ball Z.
Do you want me to not do it to you? Because I won't.
Persona 5. Dragon Ball Z.
I'm giving you an out. Do you want me to not do
Do
this
it.
thing?
Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's. I mean, no one's expecting me
So,
to get this right. So.
I said great Deku tree. You connected with, don't say anything. That Deku
Smash.
Smash is in Fortnite right now. You are correct. What franchise is that from?
Dragon Ball Z.
Final answer.
Persona.
What's your final answer?
Whichever one's going to be correct.
Okay.
I'm gonna say. Wait. So it's the kid, right?
You're
the
right.
kid's voice. So then probably Dragon Ball Z, right?
Okay. Final answer?
Final answer. Lock me in on that.
He's locked in, Mom. Sorry.
Man,
the
even
problem-
Mom
you
Brain
can stop
knew the
music.
answer to
Yeah,
this.
because she's watched it. Unfortunately, both your answers were wrong. Persona is like a game. It's just it's a game series. Dragon Ball is in Fortnite,
I did it.
but that is from My Hero Academia. With All Might and Deku. And Mom Brain, watched almost the whole first season or the whole first season.
I don't feel so bad because I would have been wrong either way.
Yes. When you said whichever one is right, I was like, uh-oh. But thank you for playing. I'm not here to shame you. We were just playing. I love game shows, a little bit of a game show. But anyway, Deku, you made the connection.
You know
so
what?
that counts
You
for
know what I'm
something.
interested in? Every time we do these last second game shows, as you call them, it's always to shame me. I've never gotten something right, and you're like, oh wait, hold on, play the music. We're gonna make sure that he looks smart.
No shame. No shame.
Yeah, right.
It's just I love. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's just game shows. I like game shows. Nikki Hill says Deku sounds like something My Hero Macadamia
Yeah,
like a
he's been,
Deku nut.
he's been sending me puns too. Yeah, I've been.
Deku sounds like something from My Hero Macadamia because we got the rim shot. Give the man the rim shot.
I'll read the one.
My Hero Macadamia nut.
I'll read the other one he sent to me. Just
Sure.
okay, and get ready with that rim shot. Nintendo will actually have an E3 presence this year, but no booth, no presentation. They are hiring the Big Show to be there as their representative.
And then Nikki Hill just texted a group chat between myself and Du and him, and it says, "So sorry, I'll stop." No, we don't want you to stop.
We want you to call in and
Keep
be on
them
the
going.
show.
Keep
Yeah.
them going. So anyway, Deku Tree, 2 versions of it. One is the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time. One is from Breath of the Wild. This is 1,900 DPI, 1,920 Lego pieces included. But also in this kit, you will get Ocarina of Time Link, Breath of the Wild Link, and Breath of the Wild Zelda. So 3 figurines, 2 Deku Tree options, all in one set. There you go.
Hmm.
No word on price or anything like that. You know what? I should start doing this on the show. Thank you to Moneyhead64 and Olivia for sending that my way. I saw it and I didn't post it because I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. But then these people reached out and I was like, it is my job to report the news. I'll do it in a way that hopefully won't get me in trouble. And so far, so good. Kirby says, day one buy for me. Don't care what the price is. I mean, I'm sure you're in a camp of many people who will agree with that. Nikki Hill says, I don't want to ask to call in because it uses Mom Brain's phone, and it is a hassle to set up with the shrug emoji.
Yeah, he's big on that shrug emoji.
Well, it worked
I'm not
today
a fan of it.
because Mom Brain didn't get here until like going live. I'm sure Du would have offered his phone. I would offer mine if I wasn't using it, but Nikki Hill, don't ever feel that way. We'll take you on the show any way we can get you. Big news for Du. The Monster Hunter Rise digital event was this week.
Peace and love.
Oh, yeah. And it was, listen, I give Capcom a lot of credit. They know how to put on a presentation because they're like, hey, we're doing a one-game thing. I don't mean to name names here, but sometimes Sony's like, here's one game. We're going to cover it for 25 minutes. Capcom's like, we're doing a one-game thing. We're going to give you all the information. It's going to be like 10 minutes, maybe 15, and we're in and out, and you're done. So that's what this was. We got information on the free title update for Boom. That comes out February 7th, 2023. It includes you know what? Let me read what they said. Also, we got a roadmap for all the things to come. During the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak digital event, February 7th is free title update for Monster Hunter Rise brings frosty new foes that will have monsters and hunters alike frozen in their tracks alongside new anomaly research content, event quests, and new paid DLC. You're going to have to face off against Velkhana, the elusive Elder Dragon that debuted as the flagship monster in Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. There's a whole bunch of DLC. Like they got some really cool new DLC for character skins. There's these 2 little characters that they use in these side videos to promote Monster Hunter, and they have like a very cutesy, like minimalist art style. And now you'll be able to buy those characters as skins in Monster Hunter, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, you can go read the whole press release, but free title update 4 comes out February 7th. So in a few days. And then there's more to come, as there always is with Monster Hunter. And you know what? I'll just lump this in because we're here now. Capcom announced that, once again, Monster Hunter Rise has hit a new sales tally. I believe it was August. The game hit 11 million units sold worldwide. And as of now, the game has hit 12 million plus, they said. 12 million plus units sold worldwide. So Monster Hunter Rise continues to reel in the hunters around the world. And as I said, it is now available on Game Pass and PS5 as well. So
It's really great. The
plenty
sun
of
broke
ways.
and the ice monsters came out to play. ladies and
Ooh, I
gentlemen.
like it. So there's plenty of ways to play. There you go. We have a rumor. This comes from IGN again. IGN says that Nintendo will have a, quote, light, end quote, release schedule for the second half of 2023. So Tears of the Kingdom is what? May
9th.
I don't know. So Somebody in the chat tell me when Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. I forget.
May 12th.
12 million plus sold for Monster Hunter Rise. May 12th. Thank you, Hailey and Tom and
May 41st says
Grantmas.
Grantimus.
Thank you. Oh, I thought you read the chat. You knew you looked it up?
In my calendar.
Oh, thank you.
Personal
do.
calendar.
Thank you. Do. May 12th. So then that leaves June, July, August, September, October, November, December. What's coming out? Well, we know Pikmin 4 is coming out after that. But the rest of the year is kind of, we don't know. I'm sure we will learn later on. But IGN says, quote, Nintendo opted to not take part in E3 2023 due to a light second half release schedule, not justifying the event space, end quote. Now, light, what does light mean to IGN? That's the key here. Does light mean amount of titles? Does light mean titles of lesser importance to IGN? We don't know. But it's not hard to imagine that Nintendo will do Tears of the Kingdom and be like, okay, we're putting a lot of attention on this one, because of course they would. The best-selling Zelda of all time, one of the biggest Switch games, lots of attention on it. So yeah, of course, that makes sense. But it's not like that's the only game coming out. But, people are like, listen, if I get Tears of the Kingdom and I get Pikmin, like, that's great. Like, I'm not upset about that. But of course, because there's all different Nintendo fans, they'll be like, where's Metroid Prime 4? Where's, I don't know, what else? F-Zero, any of that. So yeah, it all depends on you. A light schedule in terms of
that voice you use to make fun of other gamers that love the same thing in every scenario, always love the same things you love, but for some reason, it's just not something that you're not part of that group.
Well, I take it
never ask like that.
Well, I take it from like a whiny perspective. Like, listen, I look at it as a person who's like, only what I want is what should come out, and like, get over yourself. That's how I feel about it. Like, even if it's Nintendo things that I'm not going to play, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm so tired of Nintendo. Hold on, let me change. I'm so tired of Nintendo being only putting out games that other people play, and I don't want to play those. Like, get over yourself. There's a billion other games on a billion other platforms.
First of all, there's Nintendo games that you don't play.
That's a good question.
I don't think there are.
Trying to think. There's got to be.
I mean, you're not a big Pokemon player.
I play Pokemon, but I'm not huge into Pokemon. Yeah, that's very true. Like Fire Emblem, I like, and I'm getting more into. But for decades, I didn't play Fire Emblem. I'm not like, oh boy, sports titles. Listen, I like Nintendo sports games, but I'm not like, can't wait for that one to come out.
Well, for a long time, you hadn't played Earthbound.
Earthbound, yeah, there you go. I'm looking at the Smash Brothers poster. I mean, Xenoblade games I wasn't really playing,
He hasn't played the new Animal Crossing.
I didn't play new Animal Crossing. There you go. Yeah, so there's games, but I'm not like, oh
yeah, he plays Splatoon. Yeah,
Splatoon I play. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah,
you play them all.
Obviously I play the majority of them, but like, there's, when I'm watching a direct and I cover it and they're like a new Fire Emblem, I'm like, that's nice. I'm not like hyped for it. I might get more hyped moving forward because I'm now taking a different approach to strategy and RPG games. I'm going to play Engage. I'm going to finish Xenoblade first. So, but anyway, yeah, I just feel look a little bit past yourself.
Not everyone can be as calm as water, RMC, and just take them all because everything's grand.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if Nintendo was the only company putting out video games and Nintendo system was the only system, then yeah, if they put out 4 games a year, I'd be like, what the hell? I need more games. But there's so many games that come out every week across everything. Even if you're only looking at Switch, there's so much stuff that comes out. Maybe take a look at some of the other stuff. Tendonin says the light comment in IGN's paraphrasing. No, the light comment is IGN's paraphrasing of the original Video Game Chronicles report. Quote, according to VGC's publishing sources with knowledge of Nintendo's plans, the company has decided to skip E3 2023, the event's first physical show in 4 years, because it feels it has fewer major releases than usual ready to show, and which would justify significant event space. So same thing, just light for fewer major releases in exchange of light release schedules. So whatever way you want to look at it. How are you going to say major release? Does major release mean
major release?
What's a major release? A Mario, a Zelda, a Pokemon, I guess. Is everything else not major? Is Kirby not major? Is Fire Emblem not major? Is Metroid or Yoshi or we talking about major in terms of sales or popularity or what? Because people would probably argue that Metroid is major, but in terms of sales, it's not. It's much lower than everything else. So who the hell knows? Listen, we'll find out what Nintendo's got coming out when they give us a direct. That's it. We're all focused on Tears of the Kingdom right now. There you go. I don't know how to feel about this story. I don't know. Nick Offerman, who we talked about earlier, he's the actor that portrays Bill in the Last of Us TV show. He's doing the talk show rounds just as everybody else is for the Last of Us, and he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and he talked about video games because, of course, Jimmy Kimmel was like, "Have you played the game?" And he said, "No." And Mr. Offerman says the last game he played was Banjo-Kazooie, and then he stopped playing games. Why? I'll read you what he says, word for word. Mr. Offerman says, quote, 25 years ago, I played my last video game. I'm very indulgent. I lost a couple weeks to a video game called Banjo-Kazooie. 2 weeks went by, and I was like, oh my God, the slow dopamine drip is so delicious. Then it's over, and you're like, yes, I won. And immediately I'm like, what have I done with my life? And so I decided I'm never going to do that again. And so thankfully, because games have gotten so good like The Last of Us, that I think I'd be in a basement and I wouldn't even be going to auditions for shows like this. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know.
Well, then you can't watch a movie either, because when the movie's over, it's like, well, what did I do with the last 2 hours? What have I done with my life?
That's exactly how I feel. Then if this is what you're saying,
stuff drives me crazy. It's work-life balance. You can play a little video game and then go to an audition.
If this is what you're feeling, like you finish a game and you're like, what have I done? Then you can't be like, I finished a movie, I finished a book, I finished an album, I finished a TV show, because then the time's gone. You spend time with it. Banjo-Kazooie is about the length of I don't know, this might be crazy to say, The Last of Us TV show. Like, it's the same amount of time. So anybody that watches the show, are they going to finish the show and be like, what have I done with my life? It's here's my problem.
Nintendo says, I don't take that to be negative. He's talking about his own addictive tendency for games.
Yes, that is the other thing. That's why I keep saying I don't know how I feel about this, because listen, if his personality, if he has that as a personality trait, that addictive, and he knows that about himself, where he thinks, honest to God, he would not be able to escape. He would just play games forever and live in a dark hole and never do anything else. Then
come on over to my house.
Then I guess
we'll do that.
Then I guess it's a good thing. But I need context for, like, because then you could be like, do you feel that about games, movies, or do you feel that about movies, TV shows, music? Because you could make the argument that he enjoys games more than any of them, because that was so addictive to him that he's like, I have a problem, I have to stop. So maybe that would lead me to believe he doesn't enjoy movies or TV shows or anything else as much.
I mean, I'd like to believe that, but just from reading it, it almost comes from that age old, like gamers live in the basement and they don't see sunlight and they're antisocial and they're worse than people with other hobbies. And it just, I don't know, it reads like that to me.
We don't. The problem is there's too much nuance that we don't know. And here's the other thing. Listen, if it is just as cut and dry as I have an addictive personality, I can't do that because I'll never do anything else. I understand the recognition of that in yourself, and I applaud that. That's good for you. He's not putting down anybody that plays games. He didn't say anything like that.
Yeah.
So fine if I'm taking it like that. But also, like, I know this man is a woodworking fiend. Like, he does that all the time and loves working with his hands and building things, which is great. That's fine. But like, to be like, I can't play video games. They suck up so much of my life. And then also to build a whole wing of your house that's dedicated to woodworking and building stuff and doing that. It's the same thing, just in a different thing, except like, when you're done with that project, you have, I don't know, a spice rack or a bench or something.
Show for it.
Yeah. So like, but that's my problem, because I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, you can physically look at that and see that's where my time went. That's where my 20 hours went. Okay. but like you could look at a copy of the game and be like, that's where I explored that world and that's where I felt those feelings. Like the same as you would with any movie or TV show. You'd look at the reminders of them and be like, yeah, that gave me this feeling, or yeah, that taught me that, or yeah, I felt this when I made it. So like it's just the idea of something only mattering when you can physically have a representation of the time you put into it, that irks me. But again, I'm not crapping on Offerman. I don't know all the details. I would love to talk to him about this stuff that will never happen, but I would love to talk to him about it. He clearly has some interest in video games because he spent so much time with Banjo-Kazooie. By the way, excellent taste there,
Well,
sir.
and how awesome is that's like the game that like really
game to
sucked
go
him
out
in.
on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
so
never got better from there, Nick. So you did the right thing.
yeah, so I don't want to. I'm not crapping on the guy at all. I want to make it very clear. I need more information. But like you said, there's bits of it that read to me where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. But I don't know. I like Nick Offerman. He seems like a great guy. He seems like a very interesting character. I love his wife. She's great. Like I feel like they're very as far as Hollywood goes, I feel like they're very down to earth people. Do I know them? No. This is all parasocial relationship stuff, but I'm basing it on what I know. So who knows? I need to know more is what I'm saying. But yes, those kind of comments irk me because there are people out there, especially of an older generation, that are like video games are a waste of time. And at the same time, they watch movies and TV shows. And I'm not saying movies and TV shows are a waste of time because I don't think that in any way. It's just an ignorance about video games. So, I mean, I just read a story on Reddit where this guy was like, I like playing video games. My kids want to play video games. My wife won't let them play video games because it's a waste of time, she says. And then she lets them watch TV. He's like, I don't have a problem with them watching TV. But how do you say watch TV is okay? Play video games is not. Because he's like, if anything, video games, you get a little more out of problem solving, and it's not passive, and your skills with your hands. And yeah, like all that. He's like, how do I tell this to my wife? And the top comment was, I loved it because they're like, oh, I don't know, like maybe talk to your wife like a normal person. Like,
well, those are always great. Yeah.
But
that's how I ended up.
How relationships are.
That's how I ended up with an NES, right? Like, you know that.
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, because I was like a little behind. Surprise, surprise.
Well, it's a shame it didn't work.
And so I had to go to like a vision specialist and like all this different stuff. And
a Nintendo specialist, and they said, get yourself a Nintendo.
That's right. And so
I talked to Dr. Mario, and he said,
yeah, gave me a bunch of pills and said only take them in color order. So
this
that
one
was
is for the red virus. This one's for the blue virus.
That was one of the things that my parents did to help like try and work on that with me.
Listen, I don't know if I've ever told this. I think you might know this. My parents were in the same space. My parents heard something about. I don't want. I should just ask my mom right now. Why the hell not? I'll send her a voice note and then I'll tell the story while we're waiting for her response. She's usually very quick to respond. Here we go. Mom, you and Dad thought something was wrong with me when I was a kid when it came to hand-eye coordination, right? Can you give me the details on that? So that is what I remember. And I don't remember who they talked to, but my parents did not take the video game route, probably because it wasn't recommended or whatever. And they probably still have it. This is great. They bought a record,
a ball in a cup,
like an album. It's pretty damn close. They bought an album that was about like throwing around a beanbag or something.
Pass the beanbag, done.
And this was like, now as a child, I have no memory of ever listening to this or doing anything beanbag related. I think it was like a few months.
With a beanbag?
I think a few months went by and my parents were like, oh, he's fine. Maybe it's just whatever. But I know. I only know of this because I saw the album in my dad's albums collection. This was decades ago. And I was like, what is this for? What? And they were like, that's for you.
They bought that for you, dummy.
We had at school,
we
would use it. We had it was like I think a record that we had on like a CD or like a cassette tape that we would use with the kids to like, and it was like, put the beanbag on your head. Put the beanbag on your tongue. Yeah, beanbag fun.
Is that it?
Yeah, Red Souza.
That is mine all right. So it was a yellow cover and it had, I want to say it had a picture of a child drawn in black and white.
Ooh.
No, mine was older. I want to say it was like
Boogie.
probably a 70s or maybe 80s cover. I'll have to look for it. My mom has kept the voice note, so I know she's listened. She will respond shortly. But yeah, so I was in the same boat. Both of our parents thought something was wrong with us. Martin Stuff says, not sure how to feel about Nick Offerman's basement remark, to be honest. Now, I'm making an analogy here. We talk about dog whistles and racism and stuff like that. I feel like a basement comment is dog whistle for like gamers live in a basement, like you said, and don't have social skills and all that. So I get you, Martin. I'm with you. All right, here's my mom. I'll play.
Oh, that's the one, Red Souza. That is it that I had.
That's the
That's cool.
the one.
That's the one we played at school.
So different from what I remember, but yellow. I said yellow. All right, here's my mom's response.
For early childhood and adaptable for special ed.
At the suggestion of your teacher, you were having trouble cutting on the lines, and
Still
she
do.
thought you had a problem with the coordination of what you saw and what you were able to do with your hands. So you did like a couple sessions, I don't even know, with somebody in school.
Occupational therapist.
And then that was it. You were fine. So I don't even think there was ever really a problem.
I wanted to hear what my dad was going to say because it would have been a
He's
joke.
going to say probably it was that you didn't want to cut on the line is probably what it was. It wasn't that you couldn't.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Mom, what was Dad going to say? Dad said he was just, by the way, this is on the podcast. I don't remember if I told you that. That's fine though. But yeah, tell me what Dad was going to say. Probably, like I said to you, I very early on in school, I had an epiphany where I was like, I just don't have to do what they're saying. I could do just enough, and that's fine. I remember that epiphany, and
It's
then
so evolved. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how
it
evolved
hit
that
me,
is.
I don't remember what it was, but I vividly remember having a moment where I was like, I just don't have to do that. Like, and we have a friend, the friend who have the two kids that we went out to dinner with last night, where one of their kids has been living that same life, and whenever he talks, I apologized to them last night because whenever he talks, I'm like, he's telling the exact same stories of me when I was a kid, and I want to be like, yeah, kid, do that, go for what you're doing, but I'm not the parent, so. But I'm like, boy, do I identify with that kid. We're gonna get copyright. I don't want. We'll add a sound clip to the board for you. So there you go.
So good.
I don't remember how we got on that tangent.
Yeah, I was so brainwashed. Well, most kids are, like I never stepped out of line for a second, and if I did, I felt like all eyes were on me. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, for sure.
The fact that you were able to, at such a young age, just be like, no, this matters.
I don't
Why
want to
am
say
I trying to impress these like old women?
I'm not saying I'm doing it right or I did it right. It obviously made school much more difficult it made school more fun, but it made school more difficult because
for you, for your parents, for your teachers.
Well, everyone's different, like you were never gonna, apply yourself in school.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you were like dumb or anything, and
yeah.
as clearly shown. So
when I hit, but it was a problem for my parents because I hit that realization, and then I was like, I'm only doing what I need to do to get by, and that's it. And when teachers say like, do this, I was never mean to a teacher. It was just like, I took it all on myself and I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like homework. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And if a teacher would ever give me trouble, I would just be like, listen, just tell me literally what I have to do and I'll make sure that's done. And 9 times out of 10, the teachers were so annoyed with everybody and everything about work that they were like, listen, all right, here's what you got to do. Cause they don't want to go through any more struggle than they have to. So they're like my speech, doing speech. The speech teacher was like, listen, if you do this one speech and you do a really good job, that's really it. And I was like, all right, I'll be here for that speech. And I did it.
For me, it never would have crossed my mind that a teacher wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
I would have been like, they care. They want me to
Absolutely.
do well, and they're not going to let me skate by with anything.
You were also
I'm not going to be
raised
able to.
by a teacher.
Well, yeah, that's
so there's that.
So
all right, I got a response from my mom. We'll see if it's a joke from my dad.
I don't know whether at the time I agreed with the teacher's assessment. I just thought if you had a little more time in class with these scissors, you would have been fine. I guess they expected you to be able to do that at that time when they were looking at you or you were participating in class.
not that funny. I mean,
well, Dad, I'm sorry, but I still don't know how to use scissors. Yeah, not funny. He's listen, I love my dad. he is defensive to a fault with that stuff. If anybody's like, your kid's screwing up, he's like, not my kid. Not my kid. Especially with my sister, but a little bit. With
Well,
I can say my kid's screwing up. You can't say that.
but I could argue your sister didn't screw up. So like understandably he'd be like, not my kid, but the way that he defends the child who did do a lot of screwing up is admirable.
To be fair though, at that was second grade or first grade. At that time, the defense maybe is a bit more warranted. Later on, he wouldn't do that because he knows. Moving on, there's another rumor that a Nintendo Direct is coming up very soon. It's how it always. Let's put it this way, guys. Whenever there's rumors of a Direct, the Direct happens. We do this song and dance every so many months. There's gonna be a Direct. The rumor is it's gonna be.
Yet to learn.
The rumor is it's gonna be this coming week. Where there's smoke, there's fire, guys. I'd say there's gonna be a Direct. This time, do I have any personal inside information? No.
But look who the person is that's saying this.
It is not only Mr. Grubb, though. But
yeah, well,
but
Grubb,
here's
he's
the
in
thing.
the Grubb house is where he is.
But here's the
with
thing.
me.
Grubb went wild on the Metroid rumor and Zelda. And he came out afterwards and he owned it and apologized. So I'm willing to take that as like, all right, this guy's going to be a lot more careful moving forward. I respect it.
No, it just means that he knows he can just apologize and people like you are going to forgive him in a second.
Yeah, but
So
what's
it's
he getting
not
out of
true.
it? He works at another site. He's not independent anymore.
Yeah, what is he getting out of it? He's laughing his butt off when we're all like excited to hear his rumors.
But he's a Nintendo fan. Like,
So he can
listen,
laugh when
if he was
lies to us?
independent and like still making money independently, then I'd be like, yeah, he wants the rumor mill to keep churning so he makes some bank. Now he
Look,
works at Giant Bomb.
You're talking to somebody who's heavily invested in the rumor mill. That's why I'm on the podcast.
You're right.
So I take
question.
this very
I
seriously.
shouldn't question. You're right. Yes, but this week specifically, Mr. Grubb said everything I'm hearing, and it's just all sort of reiterating it, is it continues to be the week of February 6th. Over and over and over again. Every detail I get is basically a week from now. We should begin hearing all this stuff. Yeah, we've all heard the rumblings. We all know Nintendo traditionally does a February Direct. We all know Nintendo has big things coming up. Guys, it makes sense. Like there's going to be a Direct in February. I'm not going to stake my name on it, but I'll give you a good 95% sure there's going to be a Direct in February, and we will be here to cover it. So I don't think anyone will be surprised if a Direct pops up. Currybo says, rumors have been suggesting Thursday, February 9th, since they usually wait a few days or even a week after their Q3 earnings call, which happens on February 7th. Oh, I know, because I've been dreading that day. And here we go, guys. What happened last time there was a Nintendo Direct? Everybody was like, there's not going to be a Direct because there's a quarterly earnings report, and Nintendo would never do a Direct around then. Well, it's exactly what they did. So here we are again. Quarterly earnings coming up. It's February when they always do a Direct, and now people are like, oh, there's quarterly earnings. Now, there's going to be a Direct. There's going to be a Direct.
It's funny. I'm trying to pinpoint like who gets what voice. You know, it's like the people who want certain games get the high pitched voice, but then the people who are like the actually people, they get like a I told you so voice.
You're right. You're right.
But no, you're
Why
doing
do
it well.
people go high and the naysayers go low?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because they're like, listen, I picture them as like pushing up their glasses and they're like, you're right. Actually, it's so you're right. You're right.
Now,
Yeah, and actually, if saying that in my head, being that person with the high voice just doesn't make sense to me.
No, you're doing it. You're doing it exactly right.
It's wrong.
But no, this might be untrue, but I need to find out. So Grantimus in the Discord says Grubb cut off all his hair because of the Metroid thing. Is that true?
I don't know.
That sounds ridiculous.
I don't know my
right?
Grubb lore.
I mean, if he for some reason like as penance cut penance, is it penance?
As penance, yes.
Yeah, it's not penance.
As
penance.
As penance, cut off his hair, then I will forgive him. That's the apology that I'm waiting for.
Listen, I know of Grubb. I do not listen to or watch his podcast. He follows me on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. We've had a couple of very friendly exchanges. He likes stuff. I like his stuff. I don't know him. I don't know if he shaved his head, and I don't know if he did shave his head, if it was because of the Metroid stuff. So if it's true. Hi, PC. PC just got here. Oh, PC says just got here for the penance.
The perfect timing.
This whole show has been
We'd
about
like
penis.
to talk to you about penis.
I don't know why I
Phoebus,
said that, 'cause
Jonas, penis.
I know it's penance, and I said penance the first time, but then I thought it didn't sound right for some reason.
To me, it sounded exactly right.
Well, because it is right, but then I went and said penis, and that
I'm glad you
obviously
did.
immediately sounded
Now
wrong.
I couldn't tell you whether you said it right the first time or not because all I hear is
No.
penis.
From now on, it was always penis. North America, what do we got this week? Life is Strange 2, The Pathless, Active DBG Braves Rage, Air Jet Fighter Combat Europe Fly Plane Attack,
Wow.
Animal Supercraft Maker Word Simulator Deluxe Game 2023, Anime Girls Camping Trip,
Anime girls, won't you come out tonight?
Arcade Archives The New Zealand Story, Beholder 3, Car Factory Driver, Chain Car Stunt Simulator 3D Extreme Highway Car Driving Games, Clunky Hero, Cooking Tycoon 3 3-in-1 bundle.
Available February 3rd. I just love all the threes in that one.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why it says that.
Cuddly Forest Friends, Daily Dadish, Demolition Inc. HD.
I hate Tiffany Daddish. I really am not. I don't like her that much.
She's on my crap list. Dobby X Escape Spooky Adventure, Drainus, Penis, Phoebus, Jonas,
Phoebus, Photus,
Photus Duelist,
Duelist.
Draw and Color Kawaii Premium Edition, Exit Man Deluxe, Extreme Highway Racing Real Speed Driver, Fashion Police Squad. I've heard great things about Fashion Police Squad. It's basically a first-person shooter in the style of Doom, but it's all about fashion. Fear in Hospital Escape Horror Story, Haunted Zombie Slaughter, Helveti, 100 Fires, The Rising of Red Star, Episode 2. Hypershapes. Jewel Match Solitaire Collector's Edition. Jumbo Airport Story. Match Ventures. Monster Girls and the Mysterious Adventure 2. Nature Escapes Collector's Edition. Oshiro. Pets at Work. Pipeline Panic. Pixel Game Maker Series Cat and Tower. Pubble Bobble 2X / Bust a Move 2 Arcade Edition. And Puzzle Bobble 3 / Bust a Move 3 S Tribute. Love Puzzle Bobble. Love Bubble Bobble and love Puzzle Bobble. Puzzle Bobble is the one where Bub and Bob stand down at the bottom and they shoot the bubbles up top and you match 3 to remove them. Those games are a lot of fun.
It's okay.
Radiant Flux Hyperfractal 4. Risen. Roller Drama. Sakura Cupid. Seraph's Last Stand, Sport and Fun Swimming, Super Benbow Quest Turbo Deluxe, Swap Puzzles, Tales of Shinobi Fantasy Magic Anime World Fight RPG Simulator, Tiny Detour, Trophy. Trophy is an NES style game that looks like Mega Man.
Tiny Detour sounds like something I would say if I got us lost
I was gonna
on a
say,
road
it
trip.
would
I'd
not
be
be
like, oh, it's
tiny.
just a tiny detour. It's just, I know where I'm going. It's just a tiny detour.
Ultria Deluxe Edition, Unblock the Brick Casual Block Puzzle, and
That's what happens when you're constipated. You have to unblock the brick.
Wonder Boy Anniversary Collection. There are your North American releases. Do you want to do Nikki Hill's honors?
Oh, you. I actually have it right here.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
All
Hey,
right.
What are
why?
the next European masterpieces? Let's find out with Nicky's sweet releases.
All right, these are the European Switch eShop releases for the week of February 2nd, the year of our Lord 2023. I'm your host, Andrew Corney. I was going to do the Yolanda Vega and forgot what my name is. I'm your host, Do Michael, filling in for Nikki Hill. Nikki Hill, we speak your name. Active DBG, Braves Rage. Alba Set Warrior. Atone, Heart of the Elder Tree. Beat Them Up, Box Simulator. Boxing, Battle, Fight, Combat for Nintendo Switch Ultimate 2023. You know, I was going to get it, but I only have the Nintendo Switch. I don't have the Nintendo Switch Ultimate.
Yeah. Nah, only this is in Europe only.
Oh, okay. I see. Box Roulette Simulator. Boxing, Battle, Fight, Combat for Nintendo Switch.
You can get that.
Okay, that one I'll get.
Yeah.
Brightstone Mysteries. The Others. Capybara Madness. Crime Map. Spot the Hidden Differences. Cuddly Forest Friends. Dance of Death. Dulac and Faye. Drainus, Exitman Deluxe, Farming Life, Fashion Police Squad, Harvest Yuka, Hippo, Little Red Riding Hood, Jumbo Airport Story, Life is Strange 2, Match Ventures 2, Minecraft Deluxe Edition or Collection, Monster Girls and the Mysterious Adventures 2, NOS,
You got it.
New Operating System, Oshido, Power Wash
Suzuki
Simulator,
Samurai.
the Alex Trebek, Power Wash Simulator, Puzzle Bobble 2X Bust-A-Move 2 Arcade Edition, and Puzzle Bobble 3 Bust-A-Move 3 S Tribute, Radiant Flux Hyperfractual 4.0. Let's try that again. Radiant Flux Hyperfractal 4.0.
There you go.
Rhythm Sprout, Sakura Stupid, sorry, Sakura Cupid, Shark Attack, Fish Predator, Ocean. All right, I'm gonna try to take this seriously now because these are getting difficult to say. Shark Attack, Fish Predator, Ocean Sea Adventure Survival.
Isn't that the name of a character in Ace Ventura? Predator.
Roger Predator, yeah. That's why Roger Predator is dead. He found Captain Winky. So I think it's supposed to say Predator, right? Not Predator.
This is written as it's written in the press release, so
Okay.
that's all I got for you.
All right. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, Street Racers, The Internship. Terrible movie. I can't believe they made a video
there's
game
a
on that.
trouble.
The Pathless. The Pathless.
That's probably my fault on that one.
Well, at least you spelled it right. Trek to Yomi, Tuk Tuk Extreme, Real Car Driving Simulator, and Parking 2023 Car Games 3D Vehicle.
Mm.
What a world. Wonderland Nights, White Rabbit's Diary.
One more.
One more. Words in Word.
Now it's over.
And Kuribo has the first comment. He says, they say, I couldn't justify getting Power Wash Simulator when I have a real life power washing to do once spring rolls around. Kuribo, you said it and I read it wrong.
I've been interested. Oh, by the way, you might be interested in Power Wash Simulator because it's published by Square Enix and they just put in Final Fantasy VII content.
Oh, really?
This is a true story.
Well, you know, I like what? I like the gunk. So
yeah, one of the stages you wash Aerith's blood off of the floor in that
that's
cathedral.
terrible. That's so
You have a power washer, and every spring on the first day, it's like warm enough to be able to like go out and do it. There's really nothing greater than just. I mean, I've blown paint off of stuff. Like I've ruined stuff. Cause you just get out there and you're just like, yeah, like
I've got the power.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying.
Here's something else that goes hand in hand with the rumor of a Nintendo Direct. This comes from multiple people who work at retailers across the nation. Verified. Retail locations are getting advertising for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which we talked about last week because we said the whatever it was, something on Nintendo's website had been updated behind the scenes, which only happens when pre-orders go live. Well, now retailers like Walmart are getting advertisements for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. And those advertisements say available now.
Yeah, now.
And the rumor is the game is coming out this coming week, guys. Nintendo's going to do it's not a shadow drop because we already know the game exists, but it's a surprise release. Signage for stores, rumors of a direct, the Nintendo website or webpage getting updated. It's all theirs, guys. It's all there, guys. Apparently these signs are going to be put out. They all say to be put out on February 10th. There you go. I mean, you've been wondering if that game was ever going to come out. Surprise release from Nintendo this coming week? Sounds like it. Well, here, let me check something. Let me do a little number crunching here. The 10th is a Friday. What? That's odd. What day does Nintendo always release their games on? A Friday.
The 10th.
Oh my goodness.
It's always the 10th.
So there you go. The Destructo94 says, in all capital letters, let's freaking go with 3 exclamation points. Yeah, so I don't know what to tell you. Not confirmed, but something good. Yeah, we'll do this one because it's the last one. I already covered the other. Nintendo of Canada is the latest part of Nintendo to apologize for the glitches in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, those games are in better standing than they were when they first came out. Oh, hold on. We have an 8-bit Lego thing. Hello, Afternoobs. I see you in here. So I actually have some insight into the Advance Wars stories. I worked in the back rooms of Walmart over the summer, and that Reddit post was extremely wrong as to how the back room actually works. While I don't doubt Advance Wars is coming, the leaker does not work in the back rooms. Well, I made a point to go through multiple posts about that stuff. So I don't know if we're talking about the same one or not. I know I linked to one in particular, but I did a lot of research through other posts. And I guess I'll say it. On the sly, I talked to someone who I know who works at a retailer. And they confirmed that they got signage for the game, but they didn't. They couldn't open the box. I don't know how it works, but they weren't allowed to. This is someone I've worked with for years, like over a decade. That I know they're legit. They've showed me proof that they work where they say they work, but they weren't allowed to open a box or weren't supposed to open a box. I don't know. So it's not. Hello, Kufu the Mummy. It's not just that, but I do appreciate the insight, 8-bit. Thank you very much, because I'm sure there are, the people who jump on that stuff and piggyback and are like, yeah, I know it too, to get the internet points and the upvotes. So thank you for the insight. I do appreciate that, but it is from multiple sources. So hopefully it is true. As I said, not confirmed until Nintendo says so, but we'll find out together. Yeah, Nintendo Canada apologized for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's glitches. This is Susan Pennefather.
That's a great name.
They say
Well, you can go on down and talk to Susan Pennefather about it if you got a problem.
No. Susan says, well, now I'm going to read it like that because that's what you put in my brain. We absolutely apologize because it is so important to give players a positive experience with our games. This is a Canadian accent, by the way, because it's from Nintendo Canada.
So it should be a Canadian accent. Okay.
The Deep North.
When this doesn't happen, we do take it. What? Oh, let me start again. Because it is so important to give players a positive experience with our games, when this doesn't happen, we do take it very much to heart. What I can say is the feedback from players has been absolutely taken very seriously, and we are working on improvements to these games. So again, Nintendo has apologized multiple times, and you can bet they're not happy they have to do that, because Nintendo doesn't apologize for this stuff because they usually don't have to. So you can surmise they're quite miffed with Game Freak. Tendonen says, good on her for the dignified response. The sales are nice, but it can't be fun for local Nintendo subsidiaries taking the heat for Pokemon companies' messes. Exactly. Take the high road, apologize. Everybody thinks Pokemon's made by Nintendo, so Nintendo's like, listen, we're sorry. They're not like, hey, listen, we're sorry, but Game Freak and Pokemon Company did this one. They're just like, hey, we're sorry. Our bad. So there you go.
This never would have happened if Reggie were in charge still.
He would have put out 2 legendary releases if that were the case. That's your top stories. Mom Brain, what did you play? Nothing? Okay.
That's not true.
Oh, that's impossible.
You remember back in the day when I was with Aiden and Brendan, and we played a lot of Webkinz? I had many Webkinz.
Yes.
The Den Brothers.
So I
Great.
I decided, I don't know why it popped into my head this morning. Maybe I saw like a TikTok that was like a nostalgia TikTok.
I have to play Webkinz.
Yeah.
You really played Webkinz?
So I looked into whether or not I could recover my old account, because I had quite a few. I think it's like 7 years and they delete the account, and it's been more than 7 years since I played.
I'm so sorry.
So I opened a new account and started playing on my phone. It was annoying.
Not going back to Webkinz.
I spun the wheel of WoW, which was really the best part.
Spun a wheel of WoW.
But then I sent it to Brendan and to Nancy, and I was like, guys, I downloaded Webkinz this morning, and I spun the wheel of WoW, and there's also Cash Cow, and Nancy was like, oh my God. So I played Webkinz today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But are you going to go back to it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It didn't do it for me.
The thrill is gone.
What have you been playing?
Well, you know what? I'd like to start off with something that I haven't been playing. ladies and gentlemen,
Witcher.
The Witcher 3
He
did
broke
not
free of the
get
curse.
played. So here's what happened.
Gone, Geralt.
I upgraded. I didn't mention this last podcast, but I upgraded that new DLC. No, it's not even DLC. It's just that updated like outfit that you get, and I upgraded it to Grandmaster. And I put it on, and I was like, "Oh, this was underwhelming," and I never went back to the game. I put, I don't know,
Hi, Wolfric.
4 weeks into it straight,
You put
just to get
4
to that
weeks
point.
To get to that point, and it was the point you knew.
And I knew it was exactly what happened because like, and like I put on the outfit, and I was like, I did it. And then I was like, it's not really that cool. And I was like, but it's cool that I did it. And then I like tried to do a mission, and I was like, and I just never went back to
There's
it.
no reward for this mission. Why am I going to bother?
Exactly. So, congratulations, me. Thank you.
Nintendo says that's a beautiful story.
Nice. Well, I had to break away somehow. I went ahead and I beat GoldenEye.
Oh,
Thank you. Then I was going. I went back through the process of trying to beat all the levels on 00 Agent, and
I remember doing that as a kid.
It's in process right now. I haven't played in a few days. I don't know if I'm gonna actually go back and do it. There's 3 levels that I haven't done. And surprisingly, it's not like the last 3 levels. You know, it's like there's like random levels here and there that are just so hard.
Yeah, is one of them the escort mission?
There's one that's an escort mission. You're better off leaving her in like the jail, but it doesn't matter because people respawn like crazy. And on the hardest level, you've got no ammo.
I remember painstakingly trying to drag that woman through that level, and like one of the last guys would shoot her, and I did it so many times on that 00 Agent.
Well,
oh my god,
dude, I'm even doing it with traditional saves, and like it's excruciating. It's really, really difficult. So I probably won't be going back, but I did have a ball playing it. It was amazing to kind of reconnect with it, and the presentation's great. The music is better than I ever remember. I mean, I've been bugging RMC with the music, and he's like, he's not saying anything about it, but like, hey, what I know is going on in his head is, we knew back in '96, like you don't have to, or '98, you don't have to tell us how good the music is. Dummy.
You make up these whole conversations with me and you know what's the one thing about me? I'll always tell you the truth. Like it's not true at all. You've made me listen to the GoldenEye soundtrack this week while I worked because of talking about it.
Well, how come you didn't say, hey, you're right, it is really great still? Because you knew.
How many conversations have we had this week where I was like, I'm going to save it for the podcast?
Okay, all right.
There's been games. I want to talk to you about Hi-Fi Rush, but I've been saving most of it for the podcast.
All right, then. Well, the game's just wonderful. I love it so much. I think I love it better now than I ever did. It just still holds up in my... It's not just a nostalgia trip for me. Like that's a big part of it, but it actually holds up as a game I could still play and had a ball doing. So that was great. And then I decided to play a little bit of this Hi-Fi Rush that everybody's been talking about on the old Xbox Game Pass. And it took me a little while to get into it just because of my own hangups, but it's a lot of fun. It's like an action adventure rhythm game, not unlike No More Heroes as far as the fighting style goes, as far as like arena based fights. I would say, but that's about
not violence wise.
Yeah, of course, that's about as far as it goes. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. It gets my heart pumping. I don't know why. I think it's because there's such an emphasis. Obviously, you get more points and you deal more damage if you attack on the beat. And just with everything in sync in the game, as far as everything revolving around like a beat or a song, I don't know. My heart just gets into after every battle, my heart was pumping, and in a good way. Like I was actually really invigorated by this game. I don't know if it's like the performative nature of having to be on the beat or whatever, but like, my hands are sweaty and I'm like, oh, like when I do it, but when you get it right, when you get in the groove, you feel so cool.
Yeah.
It feels very satisfying to play. But like I said, you have to, you have to kind of like pay attention. You know what I mean? The game demands kind of like full attention to get the most out of it. I mean, like you said, you can press the button and he'll swing on the beat, even if you're not on the beat. But like, you just get so much more out of it if you're kind of playing the way that the game
even
is
like
designed.
through damage of attacks too. You get more damage by being
Right.
actually on the beat rather than just hitting the button and the guy swings on the beat.
So I mean, it's really great. It kind of it's really doing it for me right now. I do like rhythm games, and you know, I can't think of. There's probably a ton that I'm sure that I haven't played, but like I've never really played that I can remember. I've never really tried a rhythm game and been like, it's not for me. Like it eventually gets me. I don't know what it is about rhythm games, and I'm not a drummer or like really, I can't keep a beat really to save my life. In my
You
head,
are a recreational rapper, so parappa makes sense.
well, there's something there. Like in my head, I know when things are on beat, but
Yeah.
I could never like make my hands or fingers show you that.
Yeah.
So,
You know who can? Every time without fail? This guy.
oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, you should see. Yeah, we all know the.
We all know.
I don't know. It's one of those like. Look, I don't care that you didn't care in school, but like I do wish that you
Suffered for it?
maybe cared about like the piano or something. Like if you had just like, you know, a year of piano lessons as a kid, it's amazing what you'd probably be able to do because you can play by ear. I've never met anyone who can do that who isn't already like a musician.
Well, I mean, I do care about it, but I care about it for fun purposes. Like I don't care about it for like professional or like you know, I don't want to. I just like to sit down and screw around with that stuff. I've never had like. There's only one instrument where I've really considered being like, I really want to play that, and it's saxophone. Just because the saxophone speaks to me, but you know, you can't just like go buy a saxophone for like, you know, a decent one for a good price. They're expensive, so
You
plus
can't?
who knows
Dorothy
what
has
happens.
one at the house. The boys use it.
I ain't playing
And it
one.
used to be
It's
Kevin's,
filled with
so
kid spit. Yeah, that's no thank you. But anyway.
Well, the game also has some like pretty fun and funny references sometimes. I don't know if you've caught any RMC, but there's a couple that I've caught. Like I caught a Bill and Ted reference, and I caught a Castlevania Symphony of the Night reference.
I definitely caught the Bill and Ted one.
There's one that maybe you're just not far enough in the game, but there's a boss that says like word for word Symphony of the Night quote.
No, I haven't heard it.
You haven't?
No.
Oh man.
I'm still at where I was when we last talked. So I'm at the wrestling. I beat the wrestling boss.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that then.
No, that's fine. That's you know, this is not a game where I'm like, don't spoil the story. I'm enjoying
Right.
the story, but it's okay.
And it's just a joke, really. You know what I mean? It's like not even doesn't have much to do with anything. But yeah, and like it's got one of those. I'm gonna try to say this in
that was a joke,
I'm
man.
gonna try
Sorry, I
to
was
say
a
this in like an
behind on that.
open-minded way. So at first I didn't care for like the characters and the story and like the way that it was being told, so I skipped a lot of those early cutscenes. And I'm just gonna tell you why now, and then I'm gonna continue on and tell you kind of how I turned around on this. But so it's got that kind of, and I don't want to say anime because it's not anime, but it's got that kind of where the main character's like, I'm this cocky guy and I'm young and I'm cool and I talk like this and hey, how you doing? And whoa, and oh my goodness, hey, what?
You
What
can be
is
a voice
that?
actor.
Oh, and there's like a little cat friend that's gonna be my friend. Oh, and what are you doing? Oh, we're not friends, but after this mission, we're cool now. You know, like, but I it's that plucky kind of anime, again, not anime, but like you've seen this character 8 million times, and for me, it wasn't my cup of tea, and I was like, another one of these things. But like, here's the thing: it's done brilliantly. The actors are great. They do what they're like. It's exactly how they want it to be. So a guy like me is like, oh, they meant to do this, like, and in a good way. Like they nailed it. But it took me a second to just be like, all right, just watch the cutscenes and get over how annoying you find all the characters. I started watching the cutscenes. The story is fine. It's nothing like it just helps the gameplay go along. It's not bothering me at all. But there's a couple like little jokes in there that I've been appreciating that I'm like, okay, I've been chuckling at a few things. I'm glad that I kind of turned myself around and started like watching it. And like the presentation of the cutscenes are often really excellent. And there's a way that there's a couple of scenes where they meld gameplay into a cutscene and back. That I think has been really, really well done and engaging and exciting. So the gameplay has been really, really exciting. And like at first I was upset because it seemed like a lot of walking to get to the next battle, and I just wanted to fight. I was like, just give me these fights. These are what I'm here for. But as the game has been progressing, there's a lot more in the kind of traveling from one fight to another. There's like more platforming elements. There's more things that they add in that make it a little bit more I don't know. It's been kind of pulling me along, and I've been really enjoying it.
I know you don't like this stuff, but there's a lot of hidden stuff too, which I am enjoying. Routes where you're like, it wants me to go here. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go on this thing, or like I'm going to ride this thing, or so I'm enjoying that part of it. But that's it.
I didn't find one secret. I'm trying to beat this as quick as possible.
I know.
But no, it's a lot of fun. I've been playing it. One question I wanted to ask you, RMC.
Is that the last thing you're talking about you played?
Yeah, that's the last thing. And
okay, because I want to continue the conversation.
Yeah, just this question. This question's about the game.
Yeah,
too.
that's fine.
So just this question, and then you could talk about it. Does it? And I think I know your answer, but does it bother you that all the characters' names are food related?
It doesn't bother me. It's not my favorite. I don't mind Peppermint as a name. I don't know why, but listen, it's not my favorite. But whatever. It's not detracting from the game for me.
Okay, all right. That's
speaking of
better
the
than
game,
I thought.
I want to applaud you because I don't know if you are recognizing it, but Hi-Fi Rush has been the greatest example by far of your evolution of how you approach games. Because you went into Hi-Fi Rush, you got to the tutorial and you stopped. But you went back to give it another try and really enjoy it. You didn't like the voice actor or the cutscenes and skipped them. You stopped and started doing them again. Like, this would have never happened like 3-4 years ago. It is that, like, you often don't think you've evolved that much when it comes to how you approach games. The evidence is right here, all in Hi-Fi Rush. It's everything. So I just want to recognize that and applaud it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. That's a sweet thing to say. But the game's so fun, though. You know, like I would have only been screwing myself by missing out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously you could say that about any game that I don't play.
That's why when you said you started playing and you stopped, I left it at that, because I was like, honestly in my head I was like, I believe in Dew. I believe he will go back to it now because I feel he handles it differently, and you did. So
I could tell you really liked the game because you weren't saying anything about it. And you're like, I want to talk about it on the podcast, and I was just like, what am I missing about this? And then I was like, you know, it's got such great reviews. Like, everybody loves this. Why don't I? And I don't know. I don't know what made me go back. I think it was good. Like,
goodbye, After Noobs. Thanks for coming.
I did enjoy the fight, like the tutorial.
Yeah. But
it was like there was just a lot. There seemed to be a lot of like fluff that I wanted trimmed away, and that, you know, and it's as you're going through, they're teaching you like a lot of stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm not in the right mindset to pay attention to all the stuff they're teaching me. So I really
recognized it.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what made me go back. I'm glad I did. I'm glad it like sunk its like teeth into me a little bit. I tried to I knew you weren't going to bring it up because it's not your way anymore, which I totally understand, but I tried to bring it up with the guys on Fortnite because they all have Games Pass and they're musicians. So I was like, oh, you guys might like this. But like, to be honest, while I was bringing it up, I was like, they're not going to like this game. Like, they're not going to like, they might like rhythm games, but they would never, ever like
Lube,
this game.
no chance at all.
No, it was the other two. It was the other two.
Yes, there's a shot. And you're exactly right. I don't bring up games with people anymore because for reasons we've discussed, but I wanted to. Like, especially because they both have Game Pass, so why not?
Well, that's what I was thinking, you know, and they're musicians. So I was like, if I can enjoy this as somebody who's like can't even smash rocks together on beat, then like they probably would have a ball playing this. And like, but as I was describing it to them, I think even as I was describing it, I think inside I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I think the wind went out of my description because when I was done, one of our friends was like, well, that sounds boring or something
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well then. I guess-
Nothing like someone being passionate about something to be met with the
Nothing
response
like
of that
it."
sounds bad.
Well,
Boy, do I hate that.
I wasn't being passionate. Like I wasn't as, it wasn't like
You don't have to
Scooby-Doo or
be
anything.
passionate. By the way, I sent it to you, right?
Yes.
Did I not send it to him? Oh, I should ask you. Did I send you a Scooby-Doo clip
What was it?
on TikTok? You got to send it to him. I think I didn't send it to you because I wanted to show you in person, but a Scooby-Doo
Nice.
clip came up on TikTok, and I was like, that Scooby-Doo's not so bad. It's a great clip. It's a great clip. But anyway, yes, you guys might remember me saying that I wasn't going to play other games outside of what I was reviewing. I was going to play one game for fun and stick with that until I beat it and then go on to the next outside of games I was reviewing. And it's been 3 weeks that I'm doing that, and I decided I'm stopping because I'm ruining the podcast because I had nothing to talk about as far as playing because I was playing the same thing. So I'm going back for the purposes of content and you guys. Lube is not a musician. No, Lube was included in that conversation, and he was not the musician. There are 2 other people who are musicians.
But he also can't do rhythm games like to save his life. Like
Can't
he
play a
would-
rhythm game at all. I love Lube. He cannot hit a note to save his life. Put a gun to his head. The man's dead. He cannot hit a note at all. He has no, whatever that's called. I don't know why I can't think of it. Pitch. And that's fine. But yeah, he hates music games. But anyway, Kirby's brother, R-Type, is a musician, but he was not included in this conversation either.
he
It's
would
Vitamin G and whatever.
He'd love the game, I think, but but there's no
He's
way
very
you
open when
could
it
get
comes to
him
games.
to play it, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, I played Hi-Fi Rush. So when Hi-Fi Rush was announced, I watched it. So the game was literally a shadow drop. It was announced and released on the same day. So we didn't know it existed. Microsoft announced it, and then they put it out that same day. So I watched the trailer, and I was like, was this game made for me? I was like, it's cell shaded, which is an art style I appreciate. It's like an action adventure platformer, which I love. And it's all based on the beat of music. I was like, it couldn't be any more for me. So I downloaded the game.
And the main character talks like this and is a cocky jerk.
So I downloaded the game, and I think this shows my connection to A, video games, B, animated projects, C, music-based games, because I didn't even get 5 minutes in, and I teared up instantly. I was like, this is what I want from a video game. I was like, this is me. This is perfect. This speaks to me on so many levels. I believe it was Nintendo who said it in the chat, and I completely agree. It is a Saturday morning cartoon style approach to characters, and I love it. And I was blown away by how good the main character is as a voice actor. I was like, that he is going, like you said, he's going very specifically for something, but he nailed it. I was like, you couldn't be any more Saturday morning than this man. And I see in the chat, he also did voice acting on Persona 5. So the guy's got voice acting chops. But oh my God, for me, like it was, no pun intended here, pitch perfect. It was, I was flabbergasted by how good he is in this role. And I don't want to say he's cocky. He is cocky without a doubt, but he's also stupid, which makes it better for me because he's very full of himself and doesn't see how dumb he is.
I have to
Don't
admit,
get too cocky.
when I started watching the cutscenes because during the gameplay, like things that like little quips and stuff that you can't skip, like some of the characters were like making fun of my guy as being stupid in like a funny way. It was like funny and it wasn't cheesy, and I was like, that's pretty funny. And then like the next cutscene, I just let it roll, and then I started to see because of exactly what you said, like he's cocky but he's stupid, but it's like it's not like, oh, he's innocent stupid. It's like, no, they just say he's dummy.
Yeah,
like,
everyone around him has no qualms about saying he's stupid or telling him he's dumb. And the story isn't a sophisticated story, but the writing I feel is good. Like it's enjoyable, fun writing. because there's the sidekick Peppermint that you meet later on, who again, another phenomenal voice actor. She does a really good job. Not as good as this guy, I think, but she does a great job. But anyway, she's a smart character, and she's annoyed by him because she sees how dumb he is. But they play well off of each other. The guy is phenomenal. But I mean, this is already Game of the Year contender for me. The character designs I love the character design so much, especially Peppermint. I love them. What's the main character's name? I forget it.
Chai.
Yes, I love his design.
So they're all
But
T's.
Peppermint, oh, that's true. Peppermint is fantastic. Like her design and everything, like her blue and red or blue and pink color scheme, and her robotic limb, and I just love it. And the guy's awesome too. And you were saying in the game, your heart is pumping to the beat of because the music is so intense. You're getting into the gameplay and everything. And in the game, the guy gets merged with an iPod, for lack of a better term, or a phone or whatever that plays music. His heart is literally a music player. And I was like, that's so great that you're feeling the music, and in this game it's making your heart pump, but this guy's heart is playing music. So but yeah, the gameplay, I love platforming. I love the combat because it's all to the beat of the music. It's very flashy and fun to see. You feel great when you're doing it. It's phenomenal. I can't explain. It wasn't a teared up in a sense of like I'm emotionally overwhelmed. It was tearing up where it was like, this, I connect with this on such a deep level. This is like, there's so many aspects of my personality rolled into this that it's like me as a game. My passion for music games, my passion for animation, my passion for wrestling. There's a wrestling related character in the game. She's one of the bosses you fight. It's like everything about it. Do I love this game? I got no complaints right now. It's another one of those games where I started playing it and I was like, I never want this to end, which is why I haven't gone back to it yet, because I played like 4+ hours the first night and I was like, I got to take it easy. I just got to.
Well, that's why I
Take
thought
it
you were
easy.
farther, because you said you played 4 hours, and
Yeah, I did about
for
2
once,
hours on the first 2 missions. Yeah.
For once, I've been going a lot faster than
Because there's doors that I didn't know how to unlock, and I'm like, oh, what's this? How do I get in here? Like, what do I need for this? And you find one in the first level, but they don't even explain that you can unlock them until the second level. Then there's like the second level is you get the magnetic thing to zip across stuff, and there's all those flying like freights and all that stuff, and you can jump down on them and find like other sections in that building to go explore. So I've been doing all that. Yeah, like
wow.
just the way it's built. I love it. It's great for exploration. It is very much a linear path that you take, but there's little places to go run and find. And, there's doors that I don't know how to open and things that I don't know how to access, but I'm excited to see what happens with those. And the progression of the levels is fantastic. I love levels where this is in any game. I love levels where it's like, hey, you're all the way here and you see this thing all the way here. And you're told you got to get to the top of that thing. I don't know why I love that, but I'm always like, oh, I get to go through this whole thing and get up there. This is great. And the second stage is that it's like a building, like a corporate building that you start on the ground floor of, and you have to work your way through the inner workings of the building and climb out on the top of it and to get to like the office suite. And I just love that. I don't know. It's the same thing for me, like in any movie where a movie's like, we have to collect these 3 things. I'm like, oh, these 3 things. So we're going to get all 3 of them. This is exciting. I don't know why.
Is that how I get you to like do chores?
Not quite the same. I like it. Listen, that's a trope that I like, where they're like, we need to collect, like, it's like a Zelda thing where they're like, we need to defeat these 6 bosses. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting.
That's
6 of
like,
them.
that's, and what's funny is like, I love Zelda and that doesn't bother me one bit, but like in this, it was annoying to me that they were like, there's 4 bosses left and there's 4 things left. And they like literally said, that's like a line that, and I was like, what the heck is this crappy story? But that, like I said, I gave it a chance, and it's a lot more fun.
It's like with anime too. In a lot of anime, there's some like overarching goal or some like in Demon Slayer, for example, there's an overall goal for the main character to complete or reach, but there's also little things like the character is learning about ways to fight and methods of fighting. And as he's learning, he does well, and then he gets into a fight where he gets his butt kicked, And one of them is like, you haven't even begun to learn how to utilize this form. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's got so much more to learn. And you just see like the growth of it. I love this, like, growth and forward momentum. I love when that is recognized and there's so much more to do. I just love seeing that progression, because when I watch Demon Slayer, I'm like, this guy sucked so much in the beginning and he's so much better now, but he's got so much more to learn. I just love seeing that stuff. So in Hi-Fi Rush, when I'm going through this building, I'm like, there's the building. I get to go all the way through it and up through it and see what's in there and then come out on the top. I just love that stuff. But yeah, man, awesome game. Getting awesome reviews. I mean, it's great. I don't know what else to say about it. I got so much more to go, hopefully, but I am into it. It's awesome. And the way the animation is handled is fantastic.
I love the way it looks.
Mom Brain, you don't know anything about this game. They do the same kind of animation like in Spider-Verse, where characters are animated at different frame rates because of what they're doing. And I like, it happens right away in the beginning. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I love this stuff. But just the way the characters are animated and the way the camera moves and the way like it moves between 3D polygonal characters in a cell shaded style and then traditionally hand drawn stuff with a style that matches very closely to the gameplay, and they transition in and out of those, and it flows together seamlessly. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And on a technical standpoint, the game runs fantastic. I haven't had any issues at all. It seems like it's playing perfectly. Like,
so you know who the voice actor is for Chai?
I know he's in Persona. Go on.
Robbie Daymond.
Who's that?
From Critical Role. He's in Exandria Unlimited and in a couple of, a bunch of their other things. Yeah, it's Robbie Daymond.
I can't believe that. I thought, man, I thought I would have picked up on it.
I have a little bit of a crush on Robbie Daymond's voice, and then by proxy, Robbie Daymond himself.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Because I don't know this guy too much from when I was listening to the campaign where I was at. That's why. I knew he was Critical Role.
Was he in the campaign you... I Alexandria Unlimited might have been his first.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I know he's in it though. I would have never guessed. Holy crap! He's listen.
He's got a crazy resume.
He's
Horizon
like
Forbidden West.
He's very clearly going for a very specific type of character, like
Halo
I said,
Infinite?
Saturday morning cartoon, and he's killing it. And if he was just a cocky character, it would drive me nuts, because in Saturday morning cartoons, I hated the cocky characters, which is why I hate Raphael.
Ghost of Tsushima.
All right. Well, Raphael's a jerk. He's and cocky, but it's not like he's totally in a different realm than these anime cocky characters. Come on.
He played the film
I
director.
don't think this is anime in any way, shape, or form. I think this is Saturday morning cartoon.
Hey, I'm a jerk at first, but I'm highfalutin and I'm the best, and you're gonna find out I'm the best, and I don't trust you, but now I trust you.
His performance through and through is Saturday morning cartoon, like to a T. It is 100% Saturday morning cartoon.
Baloo never acted like that.
He wasn't a jerk. He wasn't. Baloo was never cocky.
In Nier Automata. Persona.
I gotta look up. I'll have to look it up.
I mean,
but anyway, the fact that he's stupid makes it perfect for me, because I love someone who everybody else around him knows he's an idiot. The guy doesn't care that he's an idiot, and he's cocky and shouldn't be an idiot, because that's endearing to me. Because through that, he becomes more endearing and likable, and their characters learn, and they're like, that's just the kind of guy he is. They're like, he goes out, he's headstrong, and he's an idiot, but that's why we like him, and that's why I like him. So, yeah, the writing is fun. Like I said, not a sophisticated story, but the writing's fun. It's great. The game's great. I also played GoldenEye, as I said I would. I played through the first couple stages because I'm not one for replaying games. But
Are you not? Oh, interesting. I didn't know.
Well, I told you I would play it, so I played through the opening stage and facility. And
I have time to switch laundry over, so you have pants to wear this evening.
I'm wearing the same ones yesterday. It's fine.
Oh, never mind.
I wore those for like 4 hours.
Fine.
Thank you.
Can I go swap laundry over them?
Yeah, go ahead. So I played GoldenEye, and it was very nostalgic to jump back into it, and it's fun and funny. It still holds up.
You spent all the time to switch your controls and all that?
Yeah, all
took
of
a long
2
time.
minutes. Yeah, right.
You were halfway through, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to play it on the Xbox. Enough.
Yeah, he's talking about a friend of ours. Yes, I set up my controls first. I used the Game Explain video guide. So it took me literally, I think, 2 minutes, maybe, if not less than that. and I saved my profile, and that was that. So I played it. Yeah, it holds up. It's still a fun game, even how rudimentary it is when it comes to a first-person shooter. Yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's very enjoyable. I would like to try and get in and do some online. I can't imagine it's going to work all that great, but I would give it a go. But yeah, it's good. And as you said, dude, the soundtrack is phenomenal. I have been listening to the soundtrack outside of work or outside of playing the game. Because there were songs I definitely remember very vividly, and others I didn't remember so much, but they all came back to me.
Yeah,
it's
a lot
good.
of stuff came back to me. It was amazing to me how much was coming back. Because I've got very specific memories of like mostly multiplayer and
Yeah.
mostly like the sniper rifle on the first level or the facility or
Yeah.
whatever. But like once I was getting into it, I was like, man, all this stuff is coming right back.
I did have to replay the facility a couple times because I screwed up the order of things. Like, I shot one of the gas canisters that I wasn't supposed to and gassed everybody. But so it wasn't like I remember the layout of everything exactly, but I didn't remember the necessary steps for some of it. So, but I got there. Yeah, it was fun. And then actually, while I was there, I finished playing that and I went over to play Pilot Wings because I loved Pilot Wings too. But I didn't play Pilot Wings anywhere near as much as GoldenEye. So I played Pilot Wings and I put in a few stages with that. And I was like, man, this still holds up too. This is really good. I made it halfway through getting the certifications for like everything in the game. So that doesn't take long. Like, I played Pilot Wings. I remember it, but it was still just as fun. And it was nice to see it in a higher resolution and, it just makes it look nicer. So
oh, look at the graphics horror over here.
Well, the thing is, it runs so much better now. Like on the 64, it was like 20 frames a second if you were lucky, and here it's 60 frames a second. So it was good. I played that and enjoyed it. And then I played Fortnite. So you don't need to hear more about that, but still loving Fortnite. And I played more Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I am now officially 24 hours into that game. I've put in 24 hours. I saved this last time I played, which was 2 days ago, and it said like 24:01 or 02 or something.
Man, Ron Swanson would think you just wasted a whole
I
day.
know. When I'm done, I'll be on Team Ron Swanson. Still really enjoying that. Lots of great fights, lots of great environments, and right where I saved was an environment that I'm very eager to explore. We were supposed to be going through this cave system to get to somewhere, and they did the camera does like a pass by of the environment and names it and everything. And I was like, oh, this looks like a really fun place to explore. So much so that I almost kept playing, but I was like, no, I'm right at the beginning of it. I don't want to rush through sections or get caught up, in a fight that's going to take an hour or something. So I was like, let me stop here. And next time I play, I'll be right back to this place I'm excited to play in. I still hate Tyon. Tyon is a cocky guy, know-it-all, and I don't like him at all. Like he's had one endearing moment. Outside of that, I'm like, just everybody else on the team I like, but Tyon I don't like. Listen, it's an RPG. There's a lot more to come. I could change my opinion on him at some point, but right now, no. Everybody else I like. I really like the main character. He's your standard like anime main character, fights for the right thing and goes against the grain, and well, for his friends certainly, but he's very introspective, and I really like it. Great game, very much enjoying. All right, that's it. Let's do questions. Send your questions to goninpod@gmail.com.
Where do I send those?
goninpod@gmail.com. They can be about Nintendo, video games in general, or whatever the hell you want.
Guys.
Today's question comes from Sergio ALB64, the number one Dumpkin Spice fan.
Wow.
Hi, crew.
Hi.
Hope you have all been well. Please read this part first only and answer. I want you to know, when I read that, I stopped reading the question because I wanted a genuine reaction from myself during the podcast.
Good for you.
When you're calling a place to find out if they're open during a holiday, what do you say if they answer the phone?
I say, hey, I was just calling to see if you were open.
Yeah, perfect.
What do you mean?
Like, so you call
When
to
you're
find out
calling
if they're
for-
open. You could just hang up because if
oh.
someone answers, then you know they're open.
Oh yeah, that's if
That's
you're
how I'm
calling on the
taking
day.
I thought in my head what I would say. I'd be like, oh, I was just calling to see if you're open. I'm good, thank you. And then that'd be the end of it.
Perfect.
After answering, read this part. Okay. A friend of mine thinks it's okay to ask, what are your hours today? Or even worse, what time do you close today? I say, no, you're calling to find out They're open right now. Who gives a darn what time they close? I just say the truth. Oh, I called to find out if you were open. Thanks for your answers and have a great day. So pretty much what we all said.
Yeah.
Now I have wondered if a place is how late a place is open, gone online and seen the hours, but Google has gotten the hours wrong. I've been burned by that before. So sometimes I will call and I know that they're open and I'll be like, hey, I just want to know how late are you guys open today? And they'll give me the time. But that's specifically when I want to know the hours to make sure.
Why would it be a problem to ask what time they close? I don't understand their reasoning.
Well, I guess it's like your way of like covering up for the fact that like you really just wanted to know if they were open and you feel stupid saying I want to know if you're open because
is that why the question was asked?
Yeah, because he's saying
if they answered the
he
phone,
says I'm just saying the truth. I called to see if you were open, and then that's it. They're not looking to ask how late are you open.
That's weird.
And this is like a cover story for it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, if I was in the mall and I was going to a restaurant that's in the mall, then I could call and be like, hey, you guys, I was just calling to see if you guys are open. But like, usually I'll be like, oh, like when they pick up, I'll assume, okay, they're open. So then I'll say, oh, what time are you guys open tonight? So I know how much time I have or when I can go.
Yeah, I probably would say like, oh, I was calling to see if you were open. How late are you open today?
Well,
because if it's a holiday, they may have different hours.
He's saying if it's a holiday, calling to see if they're open, and it's specifically to see if they are open. Yeah, maybe a follow-up question. You could be like, also, I'm wondering how late are you guys open? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing
but
at all.
If you're calling on a holiday just to see if somewhere's open, then you say what you say. So pretty much we're on the same page here, Sergio. I'll be interested to hear what you say in response to us.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon question.
Oh.
Gecko Kitsune has that. Mom Brain, did you know you could join the Patreon?
For $1.
Very straightforward question that I have no answer to.
Oh.
You guys will definitely have an answer to.
Okay.
What is your go-to salad dressing? I've tried salad so many times. I just don't like it. I have tried with dressings. I just don't like it. So I have no answer of value
Super
for
taster.
We'll certainly have an answer. Mom Brain will 1 bazillion% have an answer.
Oh, yeah.
Go your favorite salad dressing?
Paul Newman's balsamic vinaigrette. That's the one. Nice and simple.
He's not wrong.
You're both saying that's the one?
Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely. For like a regular everyday.
Yeah.
Okay, what about not a regular everyday?
Wait. I would also recommend that you buy from Aldi the balsamic drizzle. So it's like reduced down, and it's like a little thick on top of that to give it that extra tang. Delish.
So that's your workhorse salad dressing. Fancy occasion. What are you going for?
Well, it's gonna
like someone you're like really going for it.
I mean, there's just so many. If I was at a place that had
it has whatever you want.
I don't know.
Is there anyone every once in a while you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do.
I enjoy a blue cheese. I know it's gross.
I was gonna say when I'm at a restaurant and you get one of those side salads that comes with the meal that you don't want, and you're only gonna eat half of, and probably has gross tomatoes.
Blue cheese.
I always get blue cheese, always, because I just
page.
like blue. I like blue cheese.
I do too.
But it's kind of like, I'm not gonna like this salad, so I'll just put blue cheese on and eat a couple bites. I can do that.
I like a good wedge salad. Well, I guess it's not a salad. Amazing. I mean, I don't know what you call it if you didn't call it a salad, but I like a good wedge.
Kobun says the green goddess dressing from Panera.
Well, I think it's okay. It's safe to order a salad, but if it's a salad that comes with the meal,
like
it's never anything exciting.
Like a big hunk of carrot and
Anastasia Beaverhausen says, "I made a salad for lunch and just threw mayo on it. Granted, it was a tuna salad."
So gross.
Red Susan says, "Do and Mom Brain are right that Newman knows how to do salad dressings." And 10 Division says, "Salad is gross. Lettuce is not food." Highland Tom says, "Caesar."
You don't win friends with salad.
I'm basic. I figured there'd be some. Ice Dilbert says, "My go-to is Thousand Island, but I do like some French too, and maybe Russian."
I wouldn't put those on a salad, but I do like them on like a sandwich.
Those are more sandwichy for me.
8-Bit Lego says ranch. Nintendo says ranch. Highland Tom has the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I've felt it.
When I was a little kid and I saw the Paul Newman salad dressing bottles, I thought that was Maury Povich on them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You are not the salad dressing. That is good. Holy crap. I wish it was him. That's amazing. There you go, Maury. Start your own salad dressing. You're not doing your show anymore.
I'm sad that they don't do those little like racist pictures of him anymore. Those are so great.
Collector's items. All right. That's that. Mom Brain.
Yes.
I've never had a show where I had to pee more. And it's probably because I drank almost this whole water bottle and this soda. But I am a professional. I will not be peeing. But
Family.
let's get to music
Family.
before I explode.
Family.
All right. So we
Send your
have-
music to goninpod@gmail.com.
Where do I send that music?
Goninpod@gmail.com.
What
Please
do I put in the header?
please put music in the title to help out Mom Brain.
Guy Bones.
Oh, you don't have to rush. I'm all right.
Oh, we know this one. Double Dragon 2.
You got
Another
it.
one I listened to this week.
I love this stuff so much.
And it's titled At the Heliport. So all I hear is At the Heliport.
Whoa! Where the unicorns grow.
That's right. That was Guy Bones, and it was Double Dragon 2
Thanks,
on
Guy
the
Bones.
NES. This one comes from Nico Darunia.
You don't have to rush. Really. I know this. Oh, I gotta get this out of here. Animal Crossing?
Which one?
Wild World?
No.
New Leaf.
New Horizons? City Folk?
No, one word. Lisa.
Doesn't mean anything.
Which Animal Crossing did Lisa play?
Yeah, I don't know. Animal Crossing. What name of an Animal Crossing am I forgetting?
She played it like
New Animal? Oh, no.
way after
Wild,
it had run
Wild
its
World?
course.
Or Wide World?
I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember the names of Animal Crossings.
Pocket Camp.
You said one word.
One
And
word
I
was
said one
Lisa.
word,
Lisa was
Lisa.
the word.
Oh, I was thinking one word like in the name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Really
I was thinking what?
distracted. You got to pee.
I was going to say Happy Home Designer as well.
That was from Nico Darunia, and it was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. This one comes from Jess I.
This is familiar. What system is this?
Game Boy Advance.
There's something in there that's very familiar. Is this F-Zero?
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew it had an F-Zero vibe. Yeah, because it sounds like... Wait, what's the name of that one?
F-Zero GP.
No, I know. I
Legend?
mean the name of the song.
Sand Ocean.
Yeah, okay. Because it has a little bit of the original song in there. That's why I got it. I was like... Yeah, it's from the original F-Zero.
he's good.
But a complete remake.
This one comes from Asqui.
I know this right. This is a Mario game. Well, it's Galaxy or Galaxy 2. Galaxy 2.
It's the Deuce.
Great
job.
That
That was from
Man, what a
Asqui.
great
It's
soundtrack.
good.
This one is from our friend Steve Irwin, R.I.P.
Got nothing on this one. Sounds like an RPG, just because.
I don't know.
Sounds Japanese as well.
I think it is.
You got it.
I don't know on this one. I'm going to say it's not first party.
I don't think so.
Is it an RPG?
I don't know.
Can you give me a system?
3DS.
I don't know. I'll just be guessing, pulling out of thin air.
Persona Q, Shadow of the
That
Labyrinth.
would be an RPG. Never played it.
And I just serendipitously, I only had 6 songs for today because, we had a light crew. So this last one comes to us from Genetic Repo Man.
Ooh. Deuce seems like he might. Nope, never mind.
Thought I did at first, but I like the vibe though.
Yeah, I got Nothing on this one either. What system?
Switch.
Hey.
Last
Two-
Campfire.
There's too much on Switch for me to nail down a genre. Not first party.
No.
Yeah, I like whatever it is.
It's about a boat.
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, I like that instrument. Tubular bells. I don't know. This is a good song. Makes me want to play the game. How
Man,
about
like steamroller situation.
how about that Ubisoft one where it's about a little girl and it's hand drawn and she's
I don't think this is that.
all right, go ahead.
Graveyard Keeper.
I know
Wow.
Graveyard Keeper, but I've never played it. I am aware of it.
So you got 6 out of 9. Good job, guys.
Thank
We
you.
did it.
Do
Yes.
you have anything for us?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Ooh.
Dude's Views. It's never news. Rumor of the Week, starring Do Michaels. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Never forget that.
So this just came across my desk. This is actually pretty amazing. Normally, if you follow Dude's Views, you know that I give you a rumor every single week. This week, we're doing something a little different. The rumor is actually
You
true.
will always make me laugh. I can't.
Good, because it's not going to stop.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what's funny about it. I mean, it's true.
Oh yeah, it's
Trumers.
It's a
Dude's Trumers. So,
Producer
ladies.
says best part of the show.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
that's
That's why
'cause
everybody
it's
sticks
over.
around.
because the show's over. So, ladies and gentlemen, we found out this week that Pierce Brosnan was pretty upset about the GoldenEye remake. He was upset that he was not asked to be involved with the original Rare developers that made the game. So he and Dr. Doak, they got together and they decided that they were gonna try to do their own GoldenEye 64 remake. So be prepared. There's going to be an actual exact replica of the game that's out now, except this one will be approved by Pierce
okay,
Brosnan and
okay.
Dr. Doak.
I like it. It's nice to see Pierce getting back into the role that really catapulted him.
Yeah, you know, he also said that he GoldenEye 64 was the last game that he played because he loved
yeah.
it so much that when he finished, he thought that he had wasted his life.
Yeah, that's true.
So he hasn't played any games since. But you know, he's been watching. This is all right here, actually. He's been watching the Last of Us TV show, and he's like,
Oh.
you know what? The show's so good. Maybe I should play video games again.
I was hoping you were going to say he was watching his old show Remington Steele and decided to make a video game based on that, but I guess not yet. We'll see how this re-release of GoldenEye goes.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
yeah, that's exactly it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stick around for a little bit of an after show, but that's it. We appreciate you and your time with us. Time with us, hopefully, you don't feel is wasted. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Yeah, we got a little after show. What did I? Oh, I asked for the person who was talking about the critic,
Did they say?
but I don't think they said anything. I don't think they're here. Whoa, it's crazy how the rumors always happen to reference stuff that came up in the show. Well, Dude's sources are very timely with that. So he's in the know. He's got the
Don't ever
connections.
ask me to do the rumor at the top of the show because
Rumor has it I'll have a rumor at the end of the show. Yeah, there's something else I wanted to talk about, but it's gone, and it's because my
Was it,
brain is
Poker
flooded by
Face?
pee. I do like Poker Face. I mean, that sounded like there was a but. I love Poker Face. I wrote about it on Patreon. I should have said this on the show and not the after show. Patreon, instead of being a post every weekday, will now be a post every day. So I will do
Why is
Saturday and
that?
Sunday posts because I felt like, the Patreon people are there. They've been supporting me for so long. They're very nice to do that. And they're doing it just for the love of the site, not for like exclusive Patreon content. But I still post something every day there, every weekday. And I was like, I like writing and I like talking about all the stuff I'm into and all kinds of questions and stuff. So why not? I can do it on the weekend. So I started off the weekend one with a real simple weekend one today. I asked, what are you playing on the weekend? Because I want to know what people are playing.
What do you
Oh,
play?
talk about the Royal Rumble. Anastasia Beaverhausen says they watched the Royal Rumble for the first time ever. You tell me what you thought. I want to hear what you thought about it.
Maybe we should wait and you should go to the bathroom first.
No, I'm not waiting. I'm
He's
here.
got a clothespin on it.
Listen, as long as I'm sitting in this position, I'm good. It's there. Like
You just can't move a muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It's ready to go, but I'm bent. I'm in a 90-degree angle, so once I move, it's over. But oh man, Anastasia Beaverhausen says it was wild in capital letters. I loved it. I was kicking my feet, screaming. That's funny because that's exactly what I was doing too. No joke. I yelled and laughed and had so much fun at the Royal Rumble. The next day, I lost my voice. There you go, Royal Rumble toy.
Nice.
When Logan Paul turned up, I lost it. Capital letters. We were saying this during. Yes, I know. NXT Vengeance Day is tonight. Unfortunately, I am busy. I will not be seeing it live, but I will be watching it. Trust me.
Well, we were saying that as much as we hate Logan
Yes.
Paul, we have a lot of respect for that. I mean, you think he's a great wrestler. He might be. He probably is. I wouldn't know, but you can't deny that jump in the middle of the ring that he did with that other dude. That was ridiculous. I haven't seen too much like that. I mean,
Logan,
that's some craziness.
I can't think of any time I've seen that exactly perform. Logan Paul as a person, not really fond of him. Don't really like the guy. Logan Paul, if I'm just looking at a wrestler's abilities, he's got it. He's got something. He's more of a high flyer than a traditional wrestler, but he's got it. He had a collision. You can look it up on YouTube. If you just type in Logan Paul Ricochet, you'll see the moment. It's like a little 20-second exchange where they're both on opposite sides of the ring yelling at each other. And they do what's called they do a springboard, really, where they jump off the top rope and they launch towards each other in the center of the ring and collide crisscross into each, like their bodies just slam into each other.
It was so cool.
And it was amazing.
It couldn't have gone any better. Like they must have practiced it a bunch or something. Cause like they nailed it.
Then that's one of the moves where the timing has to be exactly right. They met each other in the middle, in the air.
And there's not much you can do once you're in the air to like, if you're not on the right trajectory,
it's over. Yeah, that's it.
It's like, we could really get hurt doing this.
They had to have some kind of sign where it was like, one is leading a countdown in some way, obviously not through a number, and one is following it because, it had to be like, when I say this, right after that, we're going. Because there wasn't like a 3, 2, 1, go. It was like, you want to do this? Let's do this. And then they jump into each other. So, yeah, it was great.
Anastasia Beaverhausen is now in love with Dominic Mysterio.
I don't get the Dom thing from just a physical perspective as far as looks, but I've heard this from so many people that are like infatuated with Dom. So I recognize it. Now, Dom
infatuated with Rhea.
Dom from a storyline standpoint, I totally get this whole thing that they're playing up with Dom spending time in prison and being a hardened criminal when in storyline he's only been there for 3 hours and was bailed out and was in like a holding cell. It's great. I love it. It's taken his character to the next level. It's fantastic.
Well, people fall in love like writing letters to prisoners all the time. So I guess it's not that.
True. It's true.
Yeah, true.
Hi, Nico Darunia. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
That's right, Ice Dilbert
says the ring is 20 by 20. It's an impressive jump, let alone the clash in the middle. Yeah, that's true. Prison makes you hard, Ice Dilbert. You're right. That's what they're doing with Dominic. He keeps saying prison made him hard.
Did you ever find out what happened to his dad? Why his dad never came out?
So that'll be on SmackDown. I haven't watched SmackDown yet because we were out. But storyline wise, as far as I know, it was he beat up his dad and stole his mask. But I'm sure Ray's on SmackDown. He'll address it. I'm sure he addressed it yesterday.
That was kind of. I mean, look, I'm not complaining because the whole night is such a spectacle. But that was for someone who has no idea what's going on in the story. That was a little underwhelming because, like, I don't know what his dad's mask looks like. So I guess you're supposed to infer that he came out with his dad's mask.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, he beat him up backstage. But I'm sitting there like, I'm only getting 29 wrestlers.
Well, here's the thing. In the storyline, when Dom first started, they were obviously family and wrestling together as a tag team. Then things started to sour. Dom is young and impressionable. He fell in with the wrong crowd, broke up with his dad. Ray was so distraught trying to get his son back together with him. Couldn't make it happen. And Ray's like, listen, he's young. He's not doing it. He won't listen to his father. There's nothing I can do. Ray's like, I'm too upset. Ray was on Raw with his son. Ray defected to SmackDown. So Ray's on SmackDown now. So the way the storyline's going, if I have to guess, is WrestleMania, Ray versus Dom. That's my guess. But we'll see what happens. WrestleMania. That's great. So yeah, that's what I got.
Domination Chamber.
Oh, that's
It's
what
not a
I'm getting
thing.
from it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Royal Rumble. I'm glad someone tuned in for the first time, and look at that. They loved it. They have a wrestler they're obsessed with. They were kicking their feet from excitement. They were screaming. I mean, it's the event to watch. This Royal Rumble was the most watched Royal Rumble ever, and it beat last year's Royal Rumble by 42% audience. 42% viewership.
Well, it was COVID last year. Everyone stayed home.
That's true.
No.
You're right. But it's still the most watched Royal Rumble ever. But you would think during COVID, the one people would watch at home more would be that one. But this year was bigger. Yeah,
because your podcast got
Anastasia
Beaverhausen
Beaverhausen on it. All right, everybody. I have to pee. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Play some games. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. And of course, as always, like I said, we'll see you next week. I just have to figure out when, if it'll be a Friday or early or Saturday or something, but we'll be here one way or the other. That's it. We'll see you later. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Everybody.